What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 13 BT 340th chapters learned the truth. Satisfy? Namikaze Kirito let out a sneer, with a disdainful expression on his face. If you had the opportunity to devour other worlds, would you stop? What's more, you control this world and keep it circulating. I never thought about letting this world reproduce by itself. This kind of behavior is different from me. Even if I say that I am the so-called world order, I am not playing with the world wantonly like playing with a doll. When I come to this world, I can liberate it. To some extent, it seems that I am the savior, and you are nothing but a chain that binds the world. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, the voice of world order was tinged with irritation. Excessive words. I don't know if I was punctured by Namikaze Kirito, or I am angry at him. Only at this time can one feel that the so-called world order also has its own emotions. Since there are emotions, it shows that, including the order of the Hokage world, they all have emotions, otherwise they would not be angry because of what 29 said for Namikaze Kirito. It is not the kind of world order that ignores the common people at all, but instead traps the whole world here, and the continuous cycle is more like a kind of shackle. Only after breaking through this layer of shackles, the world will move in a new direction, otherwise it will just go on forever. Lying not far away, Momoshage, Aokiji and Garp were getting closer. Hearing Namikaze Kirito talking to the so-called world order, the worldview of the three of them was completely shattered. Did the old man become confused because of the attack just now, as if he had an auditory hallucination? Garp shook his head vigorously a few times, and he couldn't believe the conversation between the two people beside him. But after thinking about it, the two of them didn't need to deceive them. The only explanation was that they had auditory hallucinations. Aokiji, on the other hand, seems to be much calmer. Since the death of Sengoku and Kong, the burden on his shoulders has become heavier and he has become more mature. After hearing Namikaze Kirito's talk with the world order, I subconsciously believed it. Advertisement: the sudden siege of Cake Island by the whole world is incomprehensible. Redhead also talked with Aokiji before coming here. The red hair feels that there must be a mastermind behind the whole incident, and it is this mastermind behind the scenes who is manipulating the world's movements. When I first heard it, Aokiji didn't believe it, because even if those big and small forces were manipulated, how could the world government be manipulated by others? After thinking about it, I felt that Five Elders' order was really abnormal. Now that I know the existence of the world order, I have connected everything together. Yes, apart from the world itself, who else has such a great ability to manipulate everyone in the world? Thinking of this, Aokiji's expression became complicated. If, as Namikaze Kirito said, the world is in constant circulation, then what is the meaning of their existence? Isn't the justice on his back ridiculous, because even if you don't do anything, the cycle of this world will still cycle? Momoshage didn't think as much as Aokiji, she just thought that Namikaze Kirito is from another world. Shouldn't it be said that women's focus is sometimes so strange? After hearing the news, Momoshage felt a little more relaxed, because she knew that her loss was not wronged, and only people from other worlds could suddenly appear on the sea with such a powerful force. No wonder I never found any news about Namikaze Kirito before. You world order, no, you shouldn't be called the world order, it's just a group of children guarding their toys, but sorry, your toys don't seem to want you to continue playing, so of course I will help the toys own yourself. HMPH, that sounds good. World order sneered. After all, don't you still covet this world? Let me tell you, I am the law of heaven. This world is mine, and I will never give you this stealer. It doesn't seem to make sense, anyway, it's just right, I can also try what it's like to have full power. Advertisement: and Namikaze Kirito has integrated the power of the world into his body. It is not that he has never tried this kind of world as the world order. This world has been circulating for an unknown amount of time. When using observation haki to perceive Namikaze Kirito, there is a sense of suffocation instantly, and the bones of the whole body are screaming. As the controller of this world, if he can integrate the world into his own body, wouldn't that mean that he can go to other worlds at will and continue to devour them? How did you do it? It's impossible, I understand, as long as you are destroyed, then everything about you is mine, and I can transcend it. At that time, I will have more power. Even Cake Island seemed to be affected, and began to tremble slightly. As the master of the world, although he can mobilize the power of the world, in the final analysis, it is the power of the world itself, and he can only mobilize part of it. The tone of the world order became crazy. Seeing the state of Namikaze Kirito, the 853 world order, which claims to be Tianli, trembled a little. How can the power of the world really act on one's own power? But now Namikaze Kirito definitely has that qualification, and the people below can't even look at him directly. Now a thief who stole the power of the world suddenly appeared, who was able to integrate the power of the world into himself. He even existed longer than the world, but for such a long time and countless attempts, he never succeeded. The world order can feel the destructive breath of Namikaze Kirito, which is exactly what a lot of world power condenses. Speaking of this, Namikaze Kirito's figure gradually floated up, his eyes turned golden, and the clothes on his body gradually turned into pure white. The marine trio below are shocked at this time. They have never seen Namikaze Kirito's strength clearly. If talking about Whitebeard, saying that the other party destroys the world, it may just be an exaggeration. The sea under the feet also began to roll violently, and a large cloud of dark clouds suddenly appeared in the originally cloudless sky. Thunder roared, and the wind was strong. The temperament of the whole person has undergone earth-shaking changes. If Namikaze Kirito was in that kind of careless appearance before, now he is fully open, and he has become a high god. With a streak of golden lines on his forehead, he looks noble and charming. Chapter 347 The Collision of Powers of the World. Is it your turn to covet my power now? What a pathetic guy, but it just so happens that you want to devour me, so why don't I want to devour you? Namikaze Kirito's golden Rinnegan emitted a beam of light. The whole world has changed. There are magma and volcanoes everywhere, and the air is filled with high temperatures that can evaporate ordinary people in an instant. This heat is certainly useless for Namikaze Kirito and World Order. The space technique possessed by Kagaya, the king of Yin. Weaving space freely, the supernatural power after the ancestor opened his eyes. A technique used by Kagaya who has reincarnation Sharingan. It can transfer the world where it is and the people around it to other spaces in an instant. The spaces that can be moved include lava, ice and snow, supergravity, sand, acid and other spaces. Namikaze Kirito also has this move. After all, his Rinnegan can now be said to be not just a simple Rinnegan, but an eye with world power. Space-changing moves? Can even bring me in? World Order looked at everything around him and said in surprise. Although he can still feel the existence of the power of the world, it is obvious that he has entered an independent space. This ability also makes him very envious. Stealer, everything about you will be mine immediately. The World Order suddenly turned into the appearance of Whitebeard, and the power of shock was released at will. Ka. The atmosphere shattered, making an ear-piercing broken sound. Oh, shock fruit, sure enough, as the World Order, can it have all the power? Facing this move, Namikaze Kirito also punched in the air. The two oscillating forces intersected, and not long after, the oscillating force of the World Order Kung Fu collapsed first. What? The shock that incorporates the power of true law is not so simple. Playing with this kind of power, even the world itself, is definitely not Namikaze Kirito's opponent. Advertisement, damn. Seeing this, the World Order didn't have time to think too much, it just disappeared in place, and a large amount of concussion force shattered the nearby volcano. The mountain collapsed and the magma rolled, just like a scene of the end of the world. Great eruption. Emperor Yan. Since we are in the magma volcano area, then borrowing the natural power here, the World Order directly released the moves of Akainu and Ace. Countless magma hit Namikaze Kirito with a small sun-like fireball. But this kind of move, facing the current Namikaze Kirito, no matter how much it will be for nothing. I saw him clapping his hands. Shock escape, Bai clapped his hands. Puff. The incoming magma and fireball disappeared immediately. Namikaze Kirito didn't have that idle time and too many temptations of the World Order, he just disappeared in place, and when he reappeared, he had already come to the side of the World Order. The hand that had been covered in billowing black smoke grabbed it out. The power of dark fruit? Who do you think you are dealing with? Such an ability has. Before the World Order finished speaking, Namikaze Kirito's hand had already grasped his arm, feeling a strong gravitational force. At first he wanted to continue to mock, but he suddenly felt the power in his body drain. How can this be? Logically speaking, dark fruit is a product of Pirate World, that is to say, it is controlled by the World Order of Pirate World. No matter how you think about it, dark fruit doesn't have the ability to absorb the power of the world. But the reality is that the power in his body is indeed losing a lot. Hole. The World Order roared, and a dazzling light suddenly radiated from its body. The light will also cover Namikaze Kirito in it. The world created by Heaven's escort began to collapse, and after a while, the world returned to the appearance of Pirate World again. Advertisement not far away is Cake Island. At this time, the marine trio, Momoshiki Aokiji and Garp, also sat up with difficulty, wondering where Namikaze Kirito and the man who claimed to be Tenri went. As a result, before they could search for it, a movement appeared in the sky, and then the two of them appeared in it. If you look carefully, Namikaze Kirito has a smiling expression on his face, and there is no trace of scars on his body. Looking at the order of the world, although his body is also spotless. However, it can be seen with the naked eye that his illusory body emitting light before has begun to become somewhat transparent. How could you develop dark fruit to such an extent? This is obviously the power I created. World Order looked at Namikaze Kirito vigilantly and said in a deep voice. This kind of power is no stranger to Namikaze Kirito, and the World Order in the world of Hokage has also used it. The World Order scolded angrily, and then pointed its finger at the Cake Island. Everyone on it was created by me, including you, a thief who has gained power, and they are all mine. Namikaze Kirito returned what World Order had said to him before, and then his figure flashed again, approaching World Order. This is the unique power of the World Order, and he is absorbing the power of this world. Seeing this scene, World Order was not surprised. He knew that Namikaze Kirito had stolen the power of a world, and it was not surprising to use it. White light began to quickly gather towards his hand. The power of the world in the body was lost a lot just now, seeing Namikaze Kirito bullying him again. How could the World Order dare to touch its edge? Now is just the time to prove your strength. Really? If you really made it, then why, the moment I appeared, the world was disrupted? You simply don't have the ability to give them real life, let alone the law of heaven. It's just the cage of this world. Only when you are broken, will this world show its true vitality. You're talking nonsense. But, the money is good, ordinary moves are useless against the thief in front of him. Thinking of this, the World Order seemed to have made up its mind, and he quickly backed away, then stretched out a hand. After reading this, Namikaze Kirito also stretched out a hand, and just like the world order in front of him, a white light appeared in his hand. You made it. Don't make me laugh. Namikaze Kirito said disdainfully. This power is the product of countless people's fantasy on a distant blue star. You were born because of it, and you still think you were right here? Garp Aokiji and Momosagi on Cake Island suddenly felt that part of their power seemed to disappear. You are talking nonsense. How could humans create gods? I am the law of heaven. I created this world. Obviously, the words of Namikaze Kirito have thrown the world order into chaos. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, then, just give me everything you have. Chapter 348 Controlling the Pirate World. The impact of the power of the two worlds did not have the earth-shattering roar as imagined, but was completely silent. It was so silent that when Namikaze Kirito came into contact with the two white lights of the world order, everything around him disappeared without a trace. Sound, time, space, reality, everything has turned into nothingness. Because there is no concept of time, a second may have passed, or 10,000 years may have passed. When Namikaze Kirito opened his eyes again, he was still in midair, facing the dissipating world order. In this contest, Namikaze Kirito won. Why, you can have such power, even if you devour a world, it shouldn't be like this. Even now, this last lesson, the world order is still full of puzzles. In his cognition, Namikaze Kirito is just a lucky thief. Logically speaking, the power of the world itself cannot be integrated into itself by anyone or any living body. But the thief in front of him did it, and obviously in the world of pirates, the world order mobilized the original power, but he still lost to the opponent. It can only fall into the current situation. It seems that the world has also been successfully unblocked. At this moment, a voice slowly emerged, and afterward, a radiant golden figure appeared in front of Namikaze Kirito and the world order. Oh, it's you. When world order saw this figure, he suddenly realized, I said how could someone have the ability to travel through the world, you did it. Ah, all the small worlds should be unsealed, you must disappear. Disappear? It's really interesting, if you say it like that, shouldn't you be the one who should disappear the most? The world order stretched out a hand that was about to dissipate, pointing to the mysterious will. It was you who made me conscious, and then it was you who sent people to steal and destroy me. They are all the culprits of the toys. If you were destined to destroy me, why do you want me to have such a consciousness, with my own emotions? World order roared angrily, his tone full of confusion about the mysterious will. Advertisement. Hearing his words, Namikaze Kirito looked at the mysterious will with deep meaning in his eyes. Namikaze Kirito never let go of his guard against the mysterious will, even if the other party didn't harm him at all. But in the world, there is nothing good for no reason. Especially after hearing these words from the world order of Pirate World, it is the mysterious will that created these natural laws with emotions. Then he gave himself some ways to gain power, which gave him the power to devour the world. Even with such strength now, Namikaze Kirito still can't feel the depth of the opponent in the face of this mysterious will. The golden figure stood there, as if detached from everything, and seemed to blend in with everything. It is impossible to trace the origin at all, and the mysterious will didn't mean to hide from Namikaze Kirito. Looking at the world order that was about to dissipate, he sighed softly and said, This matter is indeed my fault, because of my mistakes, so many things have been created. World. But because of this, since the world has been created, in order to make up for it, it would be a good thing to make them a real world, isn't it? World order let out a sneer. What you said really made me sick, turned into a real world? Then should I just disappear? Your existence itself is wrong, so if you want to blame me, I have nothing to say, all of this is my reason. Snort. World order obviously didn't care about the meaning of the mysterious will, but turned to look at Namikaze Kirito. Are you this guy's new toy? You have to be careful, when he gets tired of playing, my fate will be your fate today. Remember his name is. Before the world order could finish speaking, the mysterious will of the god, CJDC, snapped his fingers lightly, and the opponent instantly disappeared in the center of the world. Only Namikaze Kirito was left watching the mysterious will coldly. The world order obviously wanted to say some important news, but it was silenced when it was about to say it. Obviously, the real name of the mysterious will is a major clue. You don't have to look at me like that. As if feeling the meaning in Namikaze Kirito's eyes, the mysterious will explained. I said before, it's still too early, even if you know everything, it will do you no good. Advertisement. When the day comes when the truth should emerge, I will tell you without you asking. Namikaze Kirito didn't speak, his vigilance against the mysterious will grew stronger and stronger. If this kind of person is hostile, I am afraid that he will really kill himself in an instant. After all, even the world order was just created by him. The door in your body has been fully charged, and you can go to the next world at any time. How about it? I promise you, when you get the power of the third world, I will tell you part of the truth. At that time, you can fully understand my plight. After all, the golden figure of the mysterious will also slowly dissipate in midair. After the other party left, Namikaze Kirito began to feel the power in his body. Indeed, now there are two powers of the world in the body, constantly wandering around the body. Namikaze Kirito has absolute control over this world. That is to say, he is God here. On a whim, he also appeared in the palace minister of Cake Island. All the subordinates were excited when they saw the appearance of Namikaze Kirito. They know that their leader is definitely victorious. Next, we should be preparing for the battle for the otherworld. During this period of time, Earth-shaking changes have taken place in the world that entered the Age of Great Voyages. The world government was overthrown, and Gensokyo officially took over the ruling power of the world. At the same time, Marine, the Revolutionary Army, and a large number of pirate troops were incorporated. Since this world yearns for freedom and adventure, it will issue a decree directly, and you can register as an adventurer. As long as you don't burn, kill or loot, whether you want to sail the sea, or pursue some ancient history or treasure, you can go. Kingdoms in the world will be managed uniformly, following the policies issued by Gensokyo. Once a kingdom defies it, it will face the destruction of the country. Of course, this destruction of the country is just the destruction of the royal family, and the civilians will not be implicated. What's more, with the countless convenience policies issued by Gensokyo, the common people, needless to say, are very supportive. Chapter 349. Coming to the world of Shinigami. On the other hand, Namikaze Kirito is playing around in this world with Boa Hancock, Nico Robin mother and daughter, and Barkara Rasmuchi these days, because he will go to another new world in a short time. In order to ensure the safety of everyone, Namikaze Kirito can only go forward alone, let alone his family members in the Hokage world, who did not go to see it. Namikaze Kirito intends to seize the origin of the next world, learn the truth from the mouth of the mysterious will, and then bring the people who have fetters in the two worlds together. This can also reassure him. It is worth mentioning that when he returned to the palace, Nami, who already had long orange hair, had been waiting for a long time. The reason why I know when Namikaze Kirito returns is thanks to the help of Nico Robin. I want to revive my mother. Nami's pretty face was full of determination. I have promised Albia that I will help you before I leave, Namikaze Kirito said with a smile. No, that's what Aunt Albia said. I don't want to owe you. I will give everything I have as a reward. Nami's face was flushed. It's not that she's really in love with Namikaze Kirito. The reason for saying this is entirely because Nico Robin said that she will go to Otherworld with Namikaze Kirito in the future. If Nami wants to go with her, of course she needs to have an identity. The relationship between the two women has always been very good, and with the awakening of the world, Nami even wants to go to a world that has never been seen to find out. What's more, even if I don't fall in love with Namikaze Kirito completely, there must be a feeling of liking. Oh, you have made a decision? Namikaze Kirito looked at Nami with interest, and it would be a lie to say that he was not attracted to Nami. But it is impossible for him to force Nami to sacrifice himself, but he did not expect the other party to come out by himself today. I have made a decision. On weekdays, Nami is a carefree girl, but facing this kind of thing, she must be a little bit shy. Just when Nami didn't know what to do, Namikaze Kirito didn't give her a chance to think again, and with a flash of figure, he directly hugged her plump and soft body into his arms. With a soft shout, the room was covered with a veil of mystery. After an unknown number of days, after One Piece world had completely stabilized, Namikaze Kirito did not notify anyone. Advertisement. I plan to go directly to the new world to have a look. The door in his body has been fully charged, and when he is about to go to the new world, even Namikaze Kirito is a little nervous. His strength has reached the level of invincibility in Pirate World and Hokage World, but it does not mean that some worlds are invincible. It's like destroying the world. He can use all his strength, and it is estimated that he can destroy most of the creatures in the world, but this does not mean that he can destroy the stars. If it is the world of Dragon Ball. If you come out casually, you can destroy the star with a flick of your finger. It is estimated that with Namikaze Kirito's current combat power, if he goes to that world, especially the Dragon Ball world in the later stage, it will be a real fight between gods. The only one who can handle it is Klin, the strongest earthling. With a flash of golden light, Namikaze Kirito disappeared in place. When he opened his eyes again, he came to what seemed to be a modern society, and a strange change appeared on his body. The strength didn't disappear, but the strange thing was that his physique had indeed become a little strange. Not only that, but at some point, a dark black knife was pinned to his waist. The handle and scabbard are all jet black, and at the end of the handle, there is a strand of white rope with a pure white bell hanging on it. The windbreaker on his body is black, which is not surprising, but the white shirt inside has also turned into black. He also wore black gloves on his hands. This dress was full of mystery and elegance. It looks a lot coquettish. Looking at the bustling streets around, Namikaze Kirito heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that this must not be the world of Dragon Ball, because the world of Dragon Ball is ultra-modern. Architecture is completely different. Walking casually on the street, looking at the busy figures in the modern city, Namikaze Kirito found that the people around him looked at him with different eyes, not even ordinary eyes. They just ignored him one by one. Later, in order to verify his conjecture, Namikaze Kirito walked up to a passerby and waved, but the other party turned a blind eye. Can't see me? Before Namikaze Kirito thought about it carefully, he suddenly saw a sign that said, Karakura Town Shopping Mall. Ask for flowers. Advertisement. The name Namikaze Kirito is very familiar. When I was in Blue Star, there were the famous Migrant Workers 3 manga, Sea of Dead Fire. Karakura Town is obviously the city where the protagonist Kurosaki Ichigo lives in the Shinigami world, and it is also the source of the story development. Aizen, whose strength and resourcefulness are at the top, is equally tricky. For the world of Shinigami, Namikaze Kirito is full of vigilance. But even with such a combat power, there is still Sister Wa of the 4th team who can fight against it, and the omniscient and omnipotent Yuvabak will come out to kill it. The effect of using Haki or ninjutsu is not very ideal, and it is not known whether such things as illusion have an effect on spirit bodies. Namikaze Kirito shrugged and showed a helpless expression, which proved the reason for his physical transformation. But it is estimated that it should not be enough for Mr. Yamamoto to fight. The Palace of the King of Souls, Zanpakuto of the Rules, and the settings of the Star-Crossed Knights. This means that he has the ability to destroy the world. I didn't expect to come to this world, it really brings together the three major manga. So after coming to this world, Namikaze Kirito's abilities have also turned into the King's Power Star. It's really a dangerous world, similar to the teammates of Kurosaki Ichigo's living team. But now is not the time to experiment, it is better to understand the world first, and then find an opportunity to contact the protagonist to see what the timeline is, so as to prepare in advance. At the same time, Namikaze Kirito is also particularly interested in the Zanpakuto on his waist, not knowing what kind of transformation it will trigger. If you are confused by the combat power of the anime in the early stage, you are completely wrong. In this world, Mr. Yamamoto, a Bankai is just as warm as the sun. The temperature of the flame alone has the temperature of the sun's surface, coupled with various super attacking moves. This is purely unreasonable ultimate destructive power. You know, in this world, Shinigami are all spirit bodies, that is to say, he has also transformed into a spirit body now, so ordinary humans can't see him at all, only special humans can. Shinigami, as spirit beings, fight each other with Ryotsu. Chapter 350 Byakuya Kuchiki wandering around Karakura town at night, this kind of modern city still gives Kirito a bit of intimacy in Bullfen. So instead of searching for the protagonist's location at full speed with his ability, he walks slowly street by street. His body has been transformed into a spirit body, so he doesn't need to eat anything. You just need to stroll around. It is worth mentioning that he passed by the Urahara store before, but he didn't go in, and he also hid his breath. It's not that he is afraid of Urahara Kazuki, after all, there are only a few people worthy of his attention, but Namikaze Kirito doesn't want to get in touch with this famous old Yinbi in the Shinigami world so soon. It is more reliable to find the protagonist and his party early. Boom! While Namikaze Kirito was still wandering aimlessly, a powerful Ryotsu suddenly appeared not far away. The ordinary people around, 677, didn't feel a little strange, they were all busy with their own affairs, which is normal when you think about it, after all, they're just ordinary people, and they can't feel the soaring Ryotsu at all. But Namikaze Kirito sensed it. This was the first time today that he felt such a bright Ryotsu. It would be a pity not to see it. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito disappeared instantly into the night. On an ordinary street, several people in black clothes were standing face to face. Namikaze Kirito also came not far away, and hid his figure in a dark place. He recognized that the people in front of him were Byakuya Kuchiki, Rukia, Kurosaki Ichigo and Renji. There is also an Ishida Uryu who has been injured. By the way, I see, you are the one who took Ryotsu from Rukia. Renji looked at Kurosaki Ichigo who was blocking the attack, gritted his teeth and said this, before leaning on his knees. The icy light of the knife went straight to Kurosaki Ichigo's head. Clang! The blades collided and Renji's attack was directly blocked by Kurosaki Ichigo. One blow failed. Renji continued to slash crazily, clang clang clang. Sparks radiate. What's wrong? What's wrong? Is your big knife just a display? Looking at Kurosaki Ichigo who was only passively defending, Renji said disdainfully. Kurosaki Ichigo swung his knife and bounced off Renji's attack. He was about to counterattack when he felt his body sink and he knelt down on the ground. Blood also gushed out from his shoulders. Advertisement. Ichigo. Rukia saw that Ichigo was injured, and Anne couldn't bear to step forward. But Ishida Uryu grabbed the ankle. Don't go there, Rukia classmate. Renji looked at Ichigo condescendingly, and said softly, it's over, you will die, return your power to Rukia, and then, Rukia will return to Soul Society to die. Hearing this, Kurosaki Ichigo's face was full of disbelief. Under Renji's constant ridicule, Kurosaki Ichigo did not lose confidence, but thought of his feeling when he attacked Manos Grande before. The knife in his hand also swung out. At this time, Renji had already used Shikai, and the blade was like a snake, swaying towards Kurosaki Ichigo. You will be defeated by me, Abarai Renji, and die here. Clang! Kurosaki Ichigo has changed again, although he suffers from Renji's Shikai, but the huge Zanpakuto blade in his hand also emits blue Ryotsu. The scene was reversed instantly. Abarai Renji's headband was cut off first, and when he was still in shock, Kurosaki Ichigo's broadsword also came to his head. Oops! There was no time to think about it, the knife was inevitable. Renji also closed his eyes subconsciously. Just when Kurosaki Ichigo was about to win, a figure flashed by, and the huge Zanpakuto blade disappeared directly. Kurosaki Ichigo also froze in place, not knowing what happened. Turning his head, he looked at Byakuya Kuchiki with a cold face not far away. He didn't think it was him who shot it, but until Kurosaki Ichigo saw the blade in his hand. At this moment, Byakuya Kuchiki stretched out a hand, and slowly placed it on the handle of the knife at his waist. Kurosaki Ichigo paid 120,000 points of attention, but his body and sight didn't respond, he only felt a gust of wind blowing by. Hot blood gushed out from his chest and back. The moment he fell down, he was still thinking about why. He actually didn't see how the opponent attacked at all. Even if the attack came from the front or the back, I didn't feel it. Ichigo. Rukia Kuchiki anxiously wanted to see what happened to Kurosaki Ichigo, but Abarai Renji rushed over and pushed her over the road sign. Advertisement, look clearly. That brat is dead, don't you understand? As long as you touch him now, your crime will be aggravated for 20 years. Although Abarai Renji came to arrest Rukia as a close friend, he still cares for Rukia in his heart. How could it be possible to watch her aggravate the crime? I don't know how much time passed, but when Rukia was talking with Byakuya Kuchiki, Kurosaki Ichigo also woke up. Don't go with them, Rukia. Although Kurosaki Ichigo said so, Rukia also knows that only by leaving by herself can Kurosaki be guaranteed to survive. After saying a few words that didn't match my heart, I plan to leave with Byakuya Kuchiki. Oh tilde, that's the door to the Soul Society. A voice with a teasing tone resounded very clearly in everyone's ears. A trace of shock flashed across Byakuya Kuchiki 10,000 years unchanging ice face. Before the voice appeared, he hadn't noticed anyone around him. Everyone's eyes were directly focused on the shadow of a big tree, and a red-haired man in black clothes, a windbreaker, and pure black gloves came out. The man was exceptionally handsome, and the jet-black Zanpakuto around his waist seemed to compete with his identity. Shinigami. Who are you? Byakuya Kuchiki's tone was a bit wary, never seen a #1 player like 5.8 in Soul Society. Shinigami that has not been registered. There is no way, and just because you can't feel the slightest Ryotsu on the other side, you know that he is definitely a strong man. Such a person cannot be anonymous. I'm sorry if I disturbed you. Namikaze Kirito walked slowly in front of the crowd, although he apologized, but there was no apology in his tone. I'm just curious about the door you opened, don't worry about it, you keep busy. Unidentified person, it seems necessary to bring you back to the Soul Society for investigation. After saying these words indifferently, Byakuya Kuchiki's figure disappeared in place again. When it appeared, it was already in front of Namikaze Kirito. Images that shocked Rukia Renji including Kurosaki Ichigo emerge. There was no gushing of blood as imagined. Chapter 351, A Finger. Byakuya Kuchiki was holding the knife flat at this time, but the blade was blocked by a finger. That finger was like steel, it didn't tremble or be cut off at all, it was placed there firmly, as if stroking Zanpakuto's blade. Such childish tricks don't work for me. Namikaze Kirito looked at the shocked Byakuya Kuchiki and said with a smile. Who the hell are you? Byakuya Kuchiki exuded a faint killing intent. Although it was just a knife waved casually, it is impossible for someone to block it with one finger. Looking at the entire Soul Society, in Byakuya Kuchiki's cognition, except for the captain who may. No one else can do this, of course, this is only in his cognition. How is it possible, brother, Rukia Kuchiki stared at the scene in front of her with wide eyes. Rukia knows that her eldest brother, as the head of the Kuchiki family, is a genius in himself, and even a captain-level figure, which is also the reason for Rukia's despair. No matter how strong Kurosaki Ichigo is, it is impossible to fight against his big brother. And in front of 29, a man appeared out of nowhere, not only able to block the big brother's attack, but also with only one finger? Hey, are you kidding me? Renji was also shocked. He had challenged Byakuya Kuchiki countless times, not to mention blocking the opponent's attack. It was even difficult to see the opponent's knife. Who is this sudden appearance? Is there such a character in the 13th division? Calm down, we are not enemies, I just came here, so I was excited for a while, I want to meet you who also exist, so don't release killing intent on me. Namikaze Kirito let go of his fingers, looking indifferent. But Byakuya Kuchiki heard his words, and still did not sheath Zanpakuto. Guys like you and I are not the same existence. After saying this, the blade in Byakuya Kuchiki's hands suddenly turned into petals. Scatter, Senbon Sakura. 21 facing an enemy of this level, Byakuya directly shikai'd his own Zanpakuto. Fragments of pink sakura flowers waft toward Namikaze Kirito with a menacing aura. Really, although I knew that you were an arrogant guy who couldn't understand human language, I never thought you would be so arrogant. Namikaze Kirito's eyes flashed a hint of helplessness. Advertisement he didn't want to show up so soon, but when he saw the gate of Soul Society just now, he wanted to study its structure. So I accidentally exposed myself, and now I have to fight passively. It's really troublesome. Byakuya Kuchiki can't feel the person hiding in the shadow because of his restriction, but Namikaze Kirito can sense it. Urahara Kazuki, that old C*****T, had been watching not far away. Kurosaki Ichigo and Rukia, who has Hogyoku hidden in his body, and Urahara Kazuki are relieved, and came to the scene early. The reason why Byakuya Kuchiki caused such heavy damage to Kurosaki Ichigo has not yet shown up is that he wants to take advantage of this incident and let Kurosaki Ichigo have his own power. Even if his current Zanpakuto is as big as a building, it is still the area of strength given to him by Rukia. If you want to get stronger power, you must completely smash it, so he didn't make a move. Now seeing the appearance of Namikaze Kirito, more than 100 ways to deal with Namikaze Kirito must have flashed through his mind. That's why Namikaze Kirito didn't want to deal with this. After all, no matter what Urahara Kazuki said, he didn't attack him, he just thought about it in his mind, can he kill him directly? Facing the oncoming sakura flower, Namikaze Kirito didn't mean to get out of the way, and put his black-gloved hand on the handle of the knife. In an instant, a thick dark fog emanated from his body. Byakuya Kuchiki and Urahara Kazuki hidden not far away were shocked. They can feel a crisis from this darkness. You know, Namikaze Kirito didn't even draw out his sword at this time. Puff puff. The petals of the sakura flower disappeared the moment they touched the black mist. Not a single ripple was left. You really can't deal with it with normal means. Byakuya Kuchiki looked at Namikaze Kirito's unscathed appearance, and there was a trace of fighting spirit in his heart. The knife missing the blade in his hand did not know when it returned to its original shape, but he turned the knife upside down, as if he wanted to let it fall into the ground. Swastika. Pause. Advertisement. Just when Byakuya Kuchiki was about to bankai, Urahara Kazuki knew that he would not show up again, and didn't know what would happen, so he jumped out of the darkness. Captain Kuchiki, if you were here in Bankai, it would affect many innocent people. Urahara Kazuki said in a yin and yang tone, and when you appear in this world, have you obtained the permission of the Liberation Force? The most disciplined Captain Deadwood should not make mistakes. Bar. It's you, the sinner. Byakuya Kuchiki of course knew Urahara Kazuki. Hey. B*************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************Rules, he is completely out of touch. But 380 did it for his wife's last wish. Later, when he arrived at his wife's grave, he vowed that he would never violate the rules again in his life. Kurosaki Ichigo struggled to get up on the ground, but Byakuya Kuchiki hurt him so badly that for a while, he couldn't stand up, let alone stop the opponent from leaving. The other party has long been a criminal wanted by the Soul Society, and he did not expect to appear here. If you think about it this way, then Namikaze Kirito must also be with the other party. Unexpectedly, he could not escape in the end. The other party did not disappoint him, sheathed the Zanpakuto in his hand, turned around and walked towards the door of the Soul Society without saying a word of nonsense. Seeing that Byakuya Kuchiki was lost in thought, Urahara Kazuki waved the small fan in his hand and said softly, Captain Kuchiki, the purpose of your visit this time is Rukia Kuchiki, right? Now that the task is completed, go back earlier. So even though he loves Rukia very much in his heart, he came to this world and intends to bring Rukia back to the doctor. As for me, the sinner, and the friend next to me, why don't you go back to the Soul Society and report to the captain before making a decision? And this just violated the rules of the Kuchiki clan. Because of his wife's death, Byakuya Kuchiki took Rukia back to the family and regarded him as a righteous sister. Didn't expect so many things to happen. Renji followed with Rukia. Urahara Kazuki nailed Byakuya Kuchiki's character. To say that Rukia is the most disappointed now, she thought that her elder brother was stopped, she would definitely have a chance to escape, and then find a way to heal Kurosaki Ichigo. Chapter 352 Find out if you are male or female. After the group of Byakuya left, Urahara Kazuki directly carried the fainted Kurosaki Ichigo on his shoulders, while watching Namikaze Kirito, and said softly, Mr. Sample. Namikaze Kirito agreed to Urahara Kazuki's proposal even though he knew that the guy in front of him was uneasy, even with a smiling expression. After all, he has just come to this world now, so he has no place to go if he goes to his small shop with Urahara Kazuki. At most, it was a waste of brains, and Urahara Kazuki would not do anything to anyone until he was fully sure. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito nodded, and then the two left directly, and even Ishida Uryu who fell on the ground followed. In a quaint little shop, Urahara Kazuki, as the owner of the house, made an inviting gesture, and carrying Kurosaki Ichigo didn't affect him at all. After entering it, Urahara Kazuki arranged Namikaze Kirito to drink tea in a quiet room, and he was going to settle the two wounded. While Namikaze Kirito was tasting modern tea, a black cat crawled in slowly. Meow tilde. Ordinary people may think this is a pet, but Namikaze Kirito, who is familiar with the original work, doesn't think so. In the Shinigami world, Shihuan Yoruichi, the noble sister of the Soul Society, is the princess of the Shihuan family, but because she is a good friend with Urahara Kazuki, she is also labeled a traitor by the Soul Society. She usually turns into a black cat and wanders around. In human body, she is one of the most outstanding female characters in Shinigami anime. Because of years of exercise, she has an extremely fit figure, coupled with that wheat-colored skin, giving people a unique beauty. In the previous life, Namikaze Kirito had read many of her books. Known as Flash Goddess Yoruichi, her strength should not be underestimated. It's just that she is obviously a sister Yu, but she has a playful heart. Coming out like this, it is obvious that he intends to test Namikaze Kirito, since this is the case. The corner of Namikaze Kirito's mouth raised a smile, let's play with her. Little cat, come here tilde. He took off his black gloves, revealing a hand as white as jade, and placed it directly in front of Yoruichi. Advertisement sure enough, Yoruichi crouched carefully like a kitten with a hint of vigilance and fear of others. After a while, he seemed to let go of his guard and approached slowly. The fluffy little head is soft to the touch. I have to say that as a kitten, Yoruichi is still very easy to Namikaze Kirito kept scratching the little black cat's chin with a few fingers, and Yoruichi also showed an expression of enjoyment and cooperation. Just when Yoruichi thought she had fooled Namikaze Kirito, her body suddenly flew into the air, and apparently, Namikaze Kirito hugged her. Just wanted to resist, but Yoruichi immediately thought, she is a kitten now, why run away? The body was only slightly stiff, but immediately regained its softness. How could Namikaze Kirito, who had been caring about the other party, not feel this change, but he just pretended not to notice it. First, he hugged the little black cat in his arms and kept kneading, pinching the little meat pad, and pinching the little tail. If you look down at the little black cat in Namikaze Kirito's arms at this time, you will find that the little black cat has a very humane expression on its face. That expression seemed to be angry, enjoying, and shy, and it was always extremely complicated. It's hard to imagine a cat with so many expressions. Mother poked out your bottom, I turned into a puppy, kneading like this, hateful B*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** my belly. The little black cat seemed to have been rubbed to its sensitive parts, and stretched out its little paws trying to push Namikaze Kirito's big hand away. But at this moment, how could Namikaze Kirito give up, only to see that he gently turned the black cat around. Let it lie in my arms, and said with a smirk, "The little black cat is so cute, come, let me see if you are a male or a female." ****. Boom. Just when Namikaze Kirito was about to succeed, the light in his arms flashed, and with a soft shout, a wheat-colored fist hit his temple. For the current Namikaze Kirito, this kind of blatant attack is simply giving away the head. Advertisement. I saw that he didn't intend to dodge, and stretched out the hand that took off the glove. With a muffled sound, Yoruichi's fist was directly caught. Oh, how did the little black cat suddenly become a big beauty? But although I don't mind, I don't know if you can put on the clothes. This look is not very elegant. Namikaze Kirito said to Yoruichi with a smile. And Namikaze Kirito was sitting on the spot wearing a black inner lining at this time. Although his expression was casual, it gave Yoruichi a reason to tease him. Tight muscles, tall and straight weapons, and her slightly shy expression when cooperating. If you don't know it, you may think why Namikaze Kirito dropped her. Hey, why are you giving me clothes? I don't want others to see my appearance. I can't tell. Do you have thoughts about me, Tilda? Really, you are still cuter when you become a cat. Of course, it would be better if you can show me whether you are a male or a female when you were a cat. It should be an apology full of guilt, but Namikaze Kirito said it with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Just when Yoruichi was about to say something, his head suddenly darkened, and he subconsciously planned to resist, but reached out and grabbed the thing covering his head. Ah, that's what you asked. Sorry, I really don't understand how a cat can suddenly become a human. Of course, if I offend you, I apologize to you. I say, you, yes, no, yes, just discovered, me, yes, human, Yoruichi asked word by word. Yoruichi-san, are you enjoying yourself? So even if it is transformed into a human form, it will definitely not be a piece of cake. In Yoruichi's eyes, seeing the man in front of him smiling, no matter how you look at it, no matter how angry you are. It was actually a black windbreaker. Did you find out a long time ago? Yoruichi said in a deep voice. Click. Just when Yoruichi was about to deal with Namikaze Kirito angrily, a voice with a more, Nord-s, beating tone sounded from outside the door. Yoruichi's ability to transform into a cat is really good, but there is a disadvantage, that is, when she turned into a cat, she didn't wear clothes. Find what? Namikaze Kirito made an innocent face, expressing that he didn't know what the other party was talking about. Before Namikaze Kirito finished speaking, a wheat-colored fist hit the table in front of him directly. The table couldn't bear such violence, and it turned into tatters. Chapter 353. Two smart men. If you talk about this again, I'll kill you. Boom. Before Yoruichi finished threatening, the sound of pushing the door sounded, and Yoruichi's delicate body flashed with light, and when it reappeared, it turned into that cute little black cat again. Obviously she didn't have exhibitionism. Namikaze Kirito calmly picked up the black trench coat on the ground, and put it on himself again. Urahara Kazuki also appeared in front of the two at this time, waving the small fan in his hand, looking at the scene in front of him wanting to cry without tears. Yoruichi-san, this table belongs to my ancestors, you will pay me. The black cat shook its tail disdainfully, and let out a man's voice from its bearded mouth. Shut up, Kazuki, if you keep talking nonsense, I'll burn your house down. Sorry, I'll fix the table myself, and you don't have to pay for it. Watching Urahara Kazuki and Yoruichi play tricks in front of him, Namikaze Kirito just watched a free drama. These two people are not as dull as they appear on the surface. You know, Urahara Kazuki's IQ is even higher than that of Aizen, who hangs on the wall. Similarly, as his friend, everyone has their own abilities that they're good at. Yoruichi is not good at brains, but he has strength in arms. It is definitely above the captain level. The original book does not reveal what her Zanpakuto is, but this does not mean that she does not have it. As long as she is Shinigami 250, she must have a Zanpakuto, let alone one of the four nobles. Even without Zanpakuto, white hits and Kido alone can defeat Cap. So her strength is also a knife in the hands of Urahara Kazuki, including the clerk in his small shop, whose identity is also not simple. It can be said that Aizen's failure is inevitable, even without Kurosaki Ichigo. With Urahara Kazuki's IQ, he can find a way to restrain it. Of course, how long the process will take is unknown. Therefore, those who are deceived by Urahara Kazuki's superficial appearance will always be played by him. After playing for a while, seeing Namikaze Kirito's playful eyes, Urahara Kazuki coughed twice, and immediately stopped, and Yoruichi didn't quarrel with him again, a pair of crystal-like cat eyes, closely watching Namikaze Kirito. This gentleman, just call me Namikaze Kirito. Advertisement. Before Urahara Kazuki finished speaking, Namikaze Kirito directly reported his family name. Mr. Namikaze, what a surname I've never seen before. Maybe I've been away from Soul Society for too long, and I didn't know there was such a powerful Shinigami in the younger generation. CJDH. If you think that Urahara Kazuki is admiring, you are very wrong. The reason why he said this is just to ask about the origin of Namikaze Kirito. Not sure about the Soul Society thing? Who would believe his story? Even if Urahara Kazuki said that he knew what those nobles were doing every day, Namikaze Kirito would believe it. This guy's intelligence ability is also not simple. How could he not know that there has never been a character like him in the Soul Society? I'm just a new Shinigami, little guy, nothing worth noting, but you, Mr. Urahara, what's the matter with the previous Shinigami saying you're a sinner? Ah, it's my fault. I accidentally did some small violations. I was afraid that the law enforcement team of the Soul Society would trouble me, so I came to this world. It's not worth mentioning at all. Oh tilde, is that so? Yes, yes. Although both of them were laughing, a sentence popped up in their minds at the same time. Ghosts believe you. Yoruichi on the side, watching Namikaze Kirito and Urahara Kazuki's smirk, couldn't help standing cat hairs on his body, and shuddered fiercely. It's really disgusting to see two men laughing at each other constantly in front of me. Hey, B*********** D Kazuki, and that Namikaze Kirito, can you stop being so hypocritical and ask whatever you want? I'm so embarrassed. If Yoruichi was so merciless, if it were someone else, he would have to find a hole in the ground and get in embarrassingly. But obviously, the two people present are not usually thick-skinned. As if they didn't hear what Yoruichi said at all, they continued chatting. I don't know which team Namikaze-san belongs to. I don't have a team because I'm too weak. Namikaze Kirito showed a regretful expression. Advertisement, really, that's really unfortunate, but I think Namikaze Kirito has the strength to fight against the captain. Isn't it like you said, not strong enough? Urahara Kazuki said, pretending to be puzzled. Really, I thought Captain Kuchiki was just testing me. When he drew the knife, I just stretched out my hand subconsciously. I don't know why, but when my finger was about to be chopped off, he suddenly stopped. He is such a kind person, he is worthy of being the captain. Just like the man who just opened the door and walked in. Hearing this, Urahara Kazuki's eyes tightened under the brim of his hat. He felt that what he did was concealed enough, but he didn't expect to be noticed by the person in front of him. At the same time, the door opened again. The same is true for Yoruichi, as Byakuya Kuchiki's half-master, imparting skills such as Shunpo to him. Great Kido Chief. Former Soul Society Kido Head Commander, Tessai Tsukabishi. Mr. Namikaze, why don't we get straight to the point? Who are you? Urahara Kazuki's expression was no longer the same as before, but with a hint of serious questioning. In the end, it was Urahara Kazuki who couldn't bear it first. Namikaze Kirito was a sudden change to his plan, and no one knew whether the change was good or bad. Kindness. You use these two words to describe Byakuya Kuchiki. I guess if I know about it, I won't have to fight you again for 300 rounds. She knows Byakuya Kuchiki well. If he is serious, unsmiling, with a similar ice face, the word kindness is 1,000 miles away from him. It's better to put away your little gadgets, and there are people hidden behind the door. You can come out. Why don't we chat together? Anyone who disobeys the rules of the Soul Society, regardless of whether you are old, weak, sick or disabled, will give you a set of Senbon Sakura. Just when Urahara Kazuki was about to say something, Namikaze Kirito interrupted him with a wave of his hand. Don't worry, whatever you do has nothing to do with me, I'm just a passerby. A middle-aged man with a height of 2 meters and glasses walked in. Also kindness is not hairy. Didn't I say that? Namikaze Kirito said with a smile on his face. Hearing this, Urahara Kazuki's mouth twitched Kakuzu. Regardless of his ordinary appearance, as I said before, Urahara Kazuki himself is not simple, and so are his friends. Chapter 354 Rukia Kuchiki Death Penalty. Mr. Namikaze's perception is really strong. Even though Namikaze Kirito broke it down on the spot, Urahara Kazuki still didn't blush in her heartbeat. It seems that there is no problem with his own practice at all. Namikaze Kirito obviously didn't care about this either. If Urahara Kazuki really had a drink and talk with him, and called him brother when they first met, then he would find it strange. Urahara Kazuki is just Urahara Kazuki. You think he is in the second layer, but actually he is in the atmosphere. Otherwise, it would not have been specially marked as one of the 5 super combat forces by the all-knowing and omnipotent Yuabok later. What are the 5 superpowers? That is the unknown that is out of its control. Even an all-knowing and all-powerful person like Yuabok is very afraid of Urahara Kazuki, and one can imagine how terrifying his methods are. Even if Namikaze Kirito saw his movements, he couldn't be sure whether the smiling man in front of him had prepared other means. It's useless to have a strong perception ability. After all, compared with your endless means, I should have many things that I haven't discovered? Hear Namikaze Kirito say so. Tessai Tsukabishi and Yoruichi on the side looked at Namikaze Kirito in surprise. They didn't expect that this unpredictable person would know Urahara Kazuki so well. This is indeed the case. People who despise Urahara Kazuki generally will not end well. No one can see through this guy's scheming. Even Aizen, who is not weaker than Urahara Kazuki, is still being calculated. Where, Mr. Namikaze is really flattering me. I'm doing this for self-protection. After seeing your combat effectiveness, if you don't use some means, it will be troublesome if you attack my small shop. Tilda. Urahara Kazuki counted while fanning his folding fan. Relax, I will not be your enemy. Namikaze Kirito waved his hand and continued. If I really wanted to kill you, I could sneak attack you on that street just now when you were hiding, although I don't know if I can kill you directly, but I promise, you absolutely don't have the ability to sit here and joke with me. Oh tilde. Urahara Kazuki stared carefully into Namikaze Kirito's eyes. It seemed that he was considering the authenticity of what the other party said. After a while, he stretched out both hands and made a gesture of surrender. What a terrible person, Mr. Namikaze, so you have already discovered that I am hiding by the side. Advertisement, after all, the smell on your body is too strong. By the way, how long has it been since you took a shower? Namikaze Kirito asked suspiciously. Hearing this, Urahara Kazuki quickly lowered his head and sniffed hard. Yoruichi on the side also leaned towards Namikaze Kirito inadvertently, intending to stay away from Urahara Kazuki, with an undisguised dislike on that black cat face. Although Tessai Tsukabishi didn't speak, the light in his hand flashed, and a small enchantment appeared on his nose, which seemed to seal off his sense of smell. Hey, Tessai-san, Yoruichi-san, you hurt me too much, and Namikaze-san, you. It's just me, Kirito. If you still talk, don't come over. Namikaze Kirito said with disgust. Urahara Kazuki was speechless. He originally thought he was a good player who pretended to be stupid, but he didn't expect that after meeting Namikaze Kirito, he realized that he was nothing short of a fool. Even Yoruichi and Tessai Tsukabishi were affected emotionally. As a Shinigami, where does the smell come from? Unlike the laughter at the Urahara store, Soul Society's Go Day 13 headquarters. The captain sat on the top, listening to Byakuya Kuchiki's report, and there were several captains standing around him. With such a complete number of people, it was obvious that they had received the notification from the captain. After all, the Rukia Kuchiki incident, plus the appearance of an unknown Shinigami in this world, is simply big news. They have just seen the picture of the scene. The man in black was too oppressive. Blocked Byakuya Kuchiki's attack with one finger. Even if it is a casual attack, no one present here can confidently follow it with their fingers. Byakuya Kuchiki is a well-known genius of the Soul Society and the contemporary head of the Kuchiki clan. There is no doubt about his strength. Among the 13 captains, he is also in the middle and upper reaches. Regarding Rukia Kuchiki, the 46 room has issued a notice, and the sentence is to be executed. Hearing the captain's words, a group of captains looked at each other directly. No matter what, Rukia Kuchiki couldn't be guilty of death. Advertisement *TTT. It's not like there was no precedent for Shinigami agents before. Moreover, the power of that Shinigami agent has also been cleared by Captain Kuchiki. Room 46 must not sell the face of the Kuchiki family, and Rukia Kuchiki should be locked up for a period of time. How is it possible to directly sentence the death penalty? Many captains understand the character of Byakuya Kuchiki. After all, they have worked together for so many years. To say that Byakuya Kuchiki has no feelings for sister Rukia Kuchiki, I am afraid that no one will believe it. I didn't see the first time I heard what the captain said, although Byakuya Kuchiki's face did not change. But the fists have been tightly clenched together. Obviously, this result also exceeded his expectations. However, the chief captain has already spoken, saying that it was the decision of room 46. Even if the captains have a lot to say, it is obviously not the time to explode. 0. There is also that unknown Shinigami. We need to send someone to investigate. His strength is definitely at the captain level. If we allow him to do some unfavorable things in this world, we will lose all face. The speaker was the man in front of the captain. As the captain's deputy, what he said was to a certain extent what the captain meant. Hearing this, the faces of many captains also sank. They find it difficult to talk about Rukia Kuchiki, but this unknown Shinigami is a big problem for everyone who wants to capture him back to the Soul Society. No one can guarantee what will happen to an unregistered Shinigami in this world. What's more, this person seems to have appeared out of thin air, and there is no guarantee that there is something wrong inside Soul Society, but no matter what the possibility is, it is necessary to send someone to contact him in 10 minutes. And that man named Urahara Kazuki. After the meeting ended, the captains walked out of the meeting hall one by one. Jingla, who was dressed in a pink robe, put her hand directly on the shoulder of a man with a gentle face. Captain Aizen, you said that the Soul Society has become more and more unbalanced recently. What is the reason? Who knows, Beijing band leader, I have to go back and see my team members, many of them are out on missions. If there is any danger, as their captain, I can't sit idly by. Finally, what do you think of Rukia Kuchiki's matter? Chapter 355. Do I look like such a heartless person? Rukia. She is a very good person, and I don't know why room 46 made such a judgment this time. Aizen shook his head with a regretful expression. Jingle looked carefully at Aizen's face, and after a short while, he laughed and said, that's right, those aristocratic gentlemen, I don't know what happened to each of them. Didn't they just give the power of Shinigami to a human being? Huh? The situation was urgent, these bastards? Forbidden. Beijing band leader. Aizen looked left and right for a while, and when he saw no one around, he said with a little reminder. The people in the 46 room are not something we can discuss. The leader of the Beijing band, you should be more careful with your character. Otherwise if you are caught by someone with a heart if you use it. Don't worry. Jingle patted Aizen's shoulder vigorously and said, it's just the two of us here, the captain of the Aizen team. 963. Shouldn't betray me, right? Of course not, band leader Jing. Aizen pushed the black glasses frame and showed a gentle smile. Isn't that good? Among such captains, I am the best at chatting with you. Honored. Kiraku and Aizen, like close friends, kept talking and laughing until the captain of the third team, Ichimaru Jin, appeared. Captain Aizen, leader of the Beijing band, hello. Ichimaru Jin squinted his eyes and smiled like a cunning fox. Hey, isn't this the captain of the third team? You're so busy today, you came to chat with me just after the meeting? Jingla made a strange expression. On weekdays, when it comes to Ichimaru Jin, it is estimated that there is not much news from the mouths of many captains. A person who has no hobbies, obsession and work should be like Byakuya Kuchiki. Even if people don't like his cold appearance, they still admire his ability. But Ichimaru Jin is completely different. Although the work can be done very well, the expression of squinting and smiling always makes people shudder. This is also the reason why there are not many people who are friendly with Ichimaru Jin among the captains. Seeing the appearance of Jingle, Ichimaru Jin was not angry, but explained seriously, I came to discuss some things with Captain Aizen this time. I didn't expect that you were here, the leader of Jingle. Why don't we talk about it together? Forget it, my team members are still waiting for me. If I go back late, I'm sure I'll be tortured again. Jingle waved his hand, then greeted Aizen and Ichimaru Jin and turned to leave. Advertisement. After Jingle left completely, Aizen's whole temperament has undergone earth-shaking changes. If we say it was like a ray of sunshine before, Aizen now is an abyss that makes people fall into it. Silver, why did you come to me all of a sudden, especially when Jingle is still around? Are you deliberately trying to get his attention? Although Aizen still had a smiling expression, only Ichimaru Jin knew. Hidden under that warm smile is a cold and heartless heart. No way, Captain Aizen, you're framing me. It's not because of the unknown Shinigami that appeared in this world. I think Captain Aizen will be interested, so I came to you. As for Jingle, it's not on your side at all. Within sight, isn't it? Silver, the way you lie is really interesting. I hope you can keep it up. Forgive me, Captain Aizen, you have completely misunderstood me. Ichimaru Jin showed an innocent expression, as if to say that he was really wronged. Faced with Ichimaru Jin's acting appearance, Aizen obviously didn't intend to pursue it. Instead, he asked, the unknown Shinigami, has the identity been found out? Speaking of that Shinigami, it's really interesting. I've checked all Soul Society personnel registrations. No matter where this person is in the Soul Society, as long as he shows a trace, he should be able to find it, but unfortunately. Nothing. Ichimaru Jin spread his hands, saying that he couldn't find any news about Namikaze Kirito at all. Oh, Aizen didn't doubt Ichimaru Jin's words, he was thinking about a question now. Byakuya Kuchiki returned to the Soul Society to report that the unknown Shinigami was fighting him, and it was Urahara Kazuki who came out to round things off. In other words, the unknown Shinigami should be related to his old friend. Urahara Kazuki, I hope you can bring me some surprises, otherwise it will be too boring. Aizen looked at the street not far away, with the corners of his mouth raised. It's really scary, Captain Aizen's expression. It seems that someone is about to be tricked by you. Do I look like such a heartless person, Silver? Of course not, Captain Aizen. Advertisement. The two walked towards the team building of the third team together. Tessai Tsukabishi on the side still didn't speak, but I don't know where to find two snare drums for cheering when singing, and kept shaking them, as if to cheer Yoruichi. Of course, guests are very welcome here, especially generous guests. You just need to. Before Namikaze Kirito could say anything, the black cat like Yoruichi rushed up and scratched Urahara Kazuki all over the face. If this goes on like this, I won't have the money to maintain the store. Namikaze Kirito said with deep meaning. I live here, shouldn't you be the most at ease, Kazuki? It was the first time he had heard someone say that he wanted to eat and live for free, and he said it so confidently that he didn't know what reason to refute it. Yoruichi-san, I was wrong. Ah. The store manager, Urahara Kazuki, groaned resoundingly in the Urahara store. Before Urahara Kazuki wanted the lion to open his mouth, Namikaze Kirito directly interrupted the other party. Beforehand, I have nothing in my pocket right now. I don't have a dime. I can only eat and drink here for free. Stop. In this world, in the Urahara shop, after a series of unscrupulous noises just now. B************ D Kazuki. You're talking about living and living for nothing. Urahara Kazuki's expression also became serious. Mr. Namikaze. No, Kirito, don't you really have anything to do? Urahara Kazuki opened his mouth wide and looked at Namikaze Kirito in shock. Namikaze Kirito shrugged. Looks like I have nowhere to go right now. There shouldn't be any now. I don't know if you mind if I stay in your small shop for a while. This sentence made Urahara Kazuki stunned 0.4, and then smiled and said, Really, Kirito, we hit it off right away, we can be said to be good friends, and I won't charge you for staying at a good friend's house, but remember, if one day you have money, you must help me, my small shop already has a group of free living people. Chapter 356. Training of Kurosaki Ichigo. 2 days passed in a blink of an eye, and Namikaze Kirito has been living in the Urahara store for a while. Anyway, you can eat and live for free, and you just came to this world, and you have nowhere to go, so it would be more comfortable here. What's more, there is also a cute little black cat that can be caught and pampered, so why not do it? In just these 2 days, Kurosaki Ichigo also recovered from his injuries, and formally found Urahara Kazuki, wanting to ask him how to regain the power of Shinigami. And Urahara Kazuki also, reluctantly, agreed to Kurosaki Ichigo's request under a burst of embarrassment. Urahara Kazuki didn't mean to hide these things from Namikaze Kirito, not to mention that he has been in the store all the time, so it is unrealistic to want to hide them. After the previous test, Urahara Kazuki knew that Namikaze Kirito had that amazing perception ability. Since you can't hide it, then don't hide it. Sometimes, if you hide it, it will arouse the curiosity of others. It's better to just let it be. Urahara Kazuki, who is familiar with human nature, of course understands this aspect very well. Are you the one who showed up that day? Seeing Namikaze Kirito, there was a hint of shock in Kurosaki Ichigo's eyes. That night, he clearly felt the gap between himself and a character like Byakuya Kuchiki. In his eyes, Byakuya Kuchiki seemed so invincible, but was blocked by the man in front of him at will. If he changed his position, he would be turned into ashes if he came to face the man in front of him. Namikaze Kirito looked at Kurosaki Ichigo, smiled and said, "Is it called Kurosaki Ichigo? I can see that you have a lot of power. Of course, you have to completely control it. If you can do it, it is estimated that even if I want to deal with you, it will be very difficult." Hearing this, Kurosaki Ichigo seemed a little embarrassed. In his eyes, a person who was so unfathomably strong actually said that if he controlled the power in his body, even the other party would not be able to do anything to him. Isn't this a compliment in disguise? She scratched her head in embarrassment. Am I really that strong? Certainly. Namikaze Kirito nodded solemnly, and continued. Let me give you another word. Sometimes, power is a kind of deception. You must find your own power. The words full of profound meaning made Kurosaki Ichigo a little puzzled. Only Urahara Kazuki on the side kept looking at Namikaze Kirito. Advertisement. He doesn't know what the other party knows, but he seems to be no stranger to Kurosaki Ichigo, and even knows the other party's potential? This makes Urahara Kazuki full of doubts, and has been guessing Namikaze Kirito's true identity in his heart. Kirito-kun, how about you teach Ichigo? Urahara Kazuki asked tentatively. Kurosaki Ichigo also looked at Namikaze Kirito with expectant eyes. In his perception, someone as strong as Byakuya Kuchiki would be easily blocked. If such a person came to teach him, then he must succeed in saving Rukia. Me? Namikaze Kirito looked at Urahara Kazuki as if he were not joking. The latter also nodded seriously. You can discover the hidden power in Ichigo's body, and it's a good choice for you to teach him. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito shook his head like a rattle. I said, Kazuki, you don't like the fact that I eat and drink for free at your place recently. Are you going to find me some work? Urahara Kazuki listened to Namikaze Kirito complain with a wry smile. Where does he have this meaning? He wants Namikaze Kirito to teach Kurosaki Ichigo, but he is sincere, so that Kurosaki Ichigo can regain the power of Shinigami, and he can also test Namikaze Kirito on the sidelines. But he didn't expect that Namikaze Kirito would use such an excuse. Where are you, Kirito-kun? Aren't we friends? How could I not let you stay and eat here? Really? Namikaze Kirito looked at Urahara Kazuki suspiciously. Of course it's true. Urahara Kazuki also made a loyalty look. That's fine, I believe you, but let me teach Kurosaki Ichigo. You can give up on this plan. Kirito-kun, you. Listen to me. Urahara Kazuki was about to say something anxiously when he was interrupted by Namikaze Kirito. I have never taught others, let alone the basic power of Shinigami. Kido, I don't know anything about it, let alone how to get the power of Shinigami. You, how can I teach? Urahara Kazuki, who had been watching Namikaze Kirito's expression, could feel the sincerity in his tone. Of course, it is not ruled out that Kirito is acting. Advertisement. If it was acting, it would be too real. Urahara Kazuki still prefers to believe that Namikaze Kirito is nothing. But in this case, there will be more doubts. No, Kido, don't know how to get Shinigami's power, so how do you become a Shinigami? As if seeing Urahara Kazuki's doubts, Namikaze Kirito continued. I said it before, I don't know how to become a Shinigami, and if you tell the truth, you don't believe it, and... Speaking of this, Namikaze Kirito gave Urahara Kazuki a look. You should have gone to the Soul Society to investigate me. Have you not found any traces of my appearance there? Even Urahara Kazuki couldn't help but blush when Namikaze Kirito directly told him about his tricks behind his back. 377 was still saying that they were friends with loyalty just a second ago. Have you ever met a friend who sneaks behind the scenes to investigate the other party? I really can't hide anything from Kirito-kun, but it's a bit unfair. I always feel that you are very familiar with me. I wonder if it's my illusion? Urahara Kazuki said meaningfully. When he faced Namikaze Kirito, he had a feeling of being seen through, which was simply impossible for him. After all, for those who play with their brains, the most taboo thing is to be seen through by others. This feeling makes him feel at ease. Namikaze Kirito didn't speak, just looked at Urahara Kazuki calmly. Kurosaki Ichigo at the side was confused. He couldn't understand what the person in front of him was talking about. The fact that this kind of thinking is not suitable for him. Well, sorry, Mr. Urahara, I think it's okay. Hearing Kurosaki Ichigo's words, Urahara Kazuki also reacted, and returned to the casual look again. Ichigo, come with me. I told you beforehand, it is not easy to get the power of Shinigami. You may die. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito curled his lips in disdain. Will he die? You will let him die by the side? Chapter 357 Learning Kido. Kurosaki Ichigo followed Urahara Kazuki to the hidden space in the store. Only then did I discover that the underground space of this store is not only wide, it is bigger than a football field, which is shocking. Then, Urahara Kazuki began to arrange for Kurosaki Ichigo to have the power of Shinigami. Ordinary people want to obtain the power of Shinigami. It is very simple, as long as they become a spirit body state, and then force themselves to change. Either become virtual, or become Shinigami. Namikaze Kirito knows that Kurosaki Ichigo has 3 powers in his body, Shinigami, Quincy, and Hollow. He has them all. So for others, this method is basically 10 deaths and no life, and it is a proper transformation into a void. But Kurosaki Ichigo, it is absolutely no problem. You can change whatever you want. The open life doesn't need an explanation at all. Soon, with the help of Urahara Kazuki, Kurosaki Ichigo was on his way to true invincibility for the first time. And Namikaze Kirito watched from the sidelines bored. What is the meaning of an adventure that has known the result for a long time, just like in the world of pirates? Usopp originally wanted to ask Rayleigh if there was such a big treasure and what was buried on that island. As a result, Luffy stopped him angrily. It's like now, it's not that Namikaze Kirito gets bored after knowing the plot, but that there are at least 5 backhands left by Urahara Kazuki in this room, just to prevent Kurosaki Ichigo from becoming virtual. What else to say, if he becomes Shu, he will be killed. How is it possible, let alone Urahara Kazuki's high hopes for Kurosaki Ichigo, but Kurosaki Ichigo's father, Kurosaki Isshin, is absolutely impossible to let Urahara Kazuki do that. Otherwise, they thought that Tessai Tsukabishi and Yoruichi who were hiding aside were doing something, and they were just like Urahara Kazuki, they were all trying to protect Kurosaki. Just when Namikaze Kirito was about to go out for a stroll, he suddenly thought of something and came directly behind a hillside, where Tessai Tsukabishi was waiting for him. Not surprised to see Namikaze Kirito find him. Urahara Kazuki had told a few of them about Namikaze Kirito's terrifying sentience. Even though he tried his best to hide from the sidelines, he was still discovered by Namikaze Kirito. In the original book, it is rare to see Tessai Tsukabishi speak, but Namikaze Kirito said with the idea of giving it a try. Mr. Tessai, why don't you teach me about Kido? Advertisement, huh? Tessai Tsukabishi was full of doubts. Before, when Urahara Kazuki was chatting with Namikaze Kirito, the latter said that he knew nothing about Shinigami's abilities. I thought it was just nonsense, but I didn't expect to come to myself to ask Kido? And Namikaze Kirito was also a little surprised. He didn't expect that the other party really spoke. Although it was only a word, he did speak anyway. Tessai Tsukabishi fell into a brief sluggishness, and Urahara Kazuki in the distance also looked here. Needless to say, the two must be using a secret method for days. Faced with this scene, Namikaze Kirito didn't care. Kido, if Tessai Tsukabishi didn't teach it, he would go to the Soul Society sooner or later, and there would definitely be a way to learn Kido. After a while, Tessai Tsukabishi recovered and looked at Namikaze Kirito in front of him. I can teach you. Really? Thank you so much, it saved me a lot of trouble, Namikaze Kirito said sincerely. Follow me. Tessai Tsukabishi, who cherishes words like gold, stood up directly and walked towards the distance. They must not discuss Kido here. Soon, the two came to an open space. Tessai Tsukabishi looked at Namikaze Kirito seriously, and said, Your Excellency Kirito, I have always been serious about Kido. Since you want to learn, I will teach you everything I have about Kido. As for how much you can learn, it's up to you. Thank you. Namikaze Kirito thanked again earnestly. He has never been a so-called cruel person. When he was in the Hokage world, he wanted to survive and then take revenge, so he killed decisively, resurrected. In the world of One Piece, he really hates celestial dragons, that's why he has a deep hatred for Lu World government. If it wasn't for Marine to trouble him again and again, Marine would not have suffered such a heavy loss. After creating the New World, didn't Marine become a law enforcement force and really start to preach justice? So when facing Tessai Tsukabishi teaching him Kido, he still has a bit of humility and respect for the other party. Kido is a spell that can only be used by Shinigami, and it is divided into Hado and Bakudo. Hado 1. Rush. Tessai Tsukabishi stretched out a finger, and shot a transparent energy at the stone not far away, and saw the stone shatter in response. Advertisement. Then he looked at Namikaze Kirito. Your Excellency Kirito, I'm offended. Bakudo 61, 6 Stick Light Prison. With a flash of golden light, 6 strips of golden light suddenly appeared, rushing straight to Namikaze Kirito, locking him within it in just a split second. Namikaze Kirito exerted a little force, and sure enough, a wave of Ryotsu was constantly blocking his movements. Kido's ability and ninjutsu are very imaginable, but in terms of diversity, there are still more Kido. As for destructiveness, Kido has a super strong Kido above 90. Ninjutsu also has forbidden technique. Which one is stronger or weaker still depends on the ability of the caster. I don't know if Shock Fruit's ability can be broken. Thinking of this, a white halo suddenly flashed across Namikaze Kirito's body. Ka. Under the shocked eyes of Tessai Tsukabishi, the 6 light bands of the 6 stick light prison made a piercing sound like glass being shattered, and then directly turned into pieces. Although there is no chanting to strengthen this Kido, it is still a Kido above the number 60, and it is still the Kido used by him, the former Chief Kido. The other party just shook his body, and it was cracked? Sorry, Mr. Tessai, I just want to confirm my ability, I accidentally gave. Namikaze Kirito gave Tessai Tsukabishi a look that you understand. Tessai Tsukabishi was speechless. Accidental? You accidentally cracked the Kido above number 60, and let others live? Cough. Tessai Tsukabishi coughed twice to ease the embarrassment, and then continued. I didn't expect that Sir Kirito's ability is really strong, and he can destroy Kido above number 60 at will. But what I said next, you have to remember that Kido needs to be chanted. Once the Kido is chanted, it will be several times stronger than the Kido that has not been chanted. The strength depends on the Ryotsu of the caster. Like this, 31 of Hado, Red Cannon, boom. Chapter 358. A true genius. A red fireball quickly flew from Tessai Tsukabishi's hand to the hillside not far away. There was a loud noise, and the hillside was directly raised to the ground. It has to be said that as a big Kido leader, the power of using Kido is extraordinary. If it weren't for Aizen, he would probably still be in the Soul Society as the head commander of Kido. This is the Kido that was used without chant, and I'll show you another one next. After saying this, Tessai Tsukabishi's demeanor changed. It seemed that he was no longer a clerk at the Urahara store, but the Kido commander who held a high status in the Soul Society. King's Lander. The mask of flesh and blood, Vientiane, flutters its wings and flies high, and it is crowned with the name of human beings. Scorching heat and strife, across the sea, turn southward, and move forward. 31 of Hado, Red Cannon, of. This time, a fireball appeared again from Tessai Sukabishi's hands. The difference was that the size of the fireball this time was more than 3 times larger than before. The temperature went up to a higher level, distorting the air to burn. Feiyan shot out from his hand and landed on the flat ground that had just been shattered. Boom! A deafening sound sounded, and the ground under his feet trembled slightly. There was dust and thick smoke all the way to 727. After a while, the thick smoke dispersed, and the devastated ground was also displayed in front of the two of them. Seemingly very satisfied with the destructive power that his Kido had caused, Tessai Sukabishi had a smug look on his face. Indeed, as the commander-in-chief of Kido, in terms of Kido, on the bright side, no one can surpass him at all. As this Kido, Namikaze Kirito murmured softly. Although Rinnegan couldn't show it, many of his abilities didn't disappear. From the very beginning when Tessai Sukabishi explained, he was observing carefully. As Ryotsu gathers, coagulates, launches, and destroys. Every trajectory Namikaze Kirito can see clearly. After chanting Kido, Namikaze Kirito also noticed the principle. When chanting, it seems that the gathering of Ryotsu will be faster, and the degree of compression is different from that of no chanting. This is why Kido after chanting is stronger than without chanting. Seeing Namikaze Kirito standing still and not speaking, Tessai Sukabishi thought that the other party was shocked by Kido's magic, and quickly said, "Your Excellency Kirito, the store manager has told me before that you are very strong. Advertisement, as a powerful Shinigami, it is estimated that you will be able to master Kido below the number 60 after practicing for a while. This." Before Tessai Sukabishi finished speaking, he suddenly saw Namikaze Kirito stretching out his hand, gesticulating in the air, not knowing what he was doing. Lord Kirito. Just when he was still wondering, Namikaze Kirito suddenly changed his hand and opened his lips slightly. Hado number 31, Red Cannon. Boom. A red fireball shot out, smashing several boulders directly. The chant Kido used by Namikaze Kirito is actually as powerful as the chant Kido used by Tessai Sukabishi. This scene made Tessai Sukabishi's jaw drop. How is it possible? How is it possible to have Shinigami learn Kido just by watching it once? And still so powerful. Thinking of this, Tessai Sukabishi's face was a little ugly, thinking that the other party was playing with him, and he wanted to teach himself even though he knew how to Kido. It's just so rude. Your Excellency Kirito, you are going too far. I really want to teach you Kido. Now that you have learned it, I will take my leave. Seeing Tessai Sukabishi's appearance, Namikaze Kirito knew that the other party had misunderstood him. Quickly explained. Mr. Tessai, you have misunderstood me. I really don't know Kido. The reason why I can release it is because I observed the Ryotsu fluctuation when you use Kido. Tessai Sukabishi didn't speak, staring closely at Namikaze Kirito, who also stared directly at him without any intention of dodging. After a while, I seemed to recognize what Namikaze Kirito said. I couldn't help being a little surprised. If what Namikaze Kirito said was true, it would be too scary, just looking at it and being able to cast Kido on the 31st. You know, there is no lack of talent in Soul Society. Before there was Jingle Jashiro, the student of the captain these 2 days, and then there were Bikuya Kuchiki and Sui Feng, who became the captain at a young age. There is also Hitsugaya Dashiro, who is known as the strongest genius in a century. But if you compare it with the person in front of you, it's not even a star. Mr. Tessai. Seeing that Tessai Sukabishi remained silent, Namikaze Kirito asked aloud. Advertisement, oh, I'm sorry Sir Kirito, I was distracted. Tessai Sukabishi recovered and said apologetically. Since they have already misunderstood others, then Kido's teaching must continue. Then Tessai Sukabishi slowly taught Namikaze Kirito the Kido and the corresponding chant. During the teaching process, Tessai Sukabishi really believed what Namikaze Kirito said. It is indeed the first time he has come into contact with Kido, but it is such a person who is in contact with Kido for the first time that he can skillfully use Kido without chant. As time went by, Tessai Sukabishi's forehead was sweating. He was not tired, but was shocked during the teaching process. If Aizen was killed or sealed immediately, there would be so many things. Yi said with a strange face. Kazuki, where the hell did this guy come from? I can't help subconsciously thinking, if such a person is an enemy, what means should I use to fight against it? In comparison, it seems that Kurosaki Ichigo on the other side has realized the power of Shinigami in a short period of time is so insignificant. Urahara Kazuki's eyes are also full of meaning. Urahara Kazuki and Yoruichi came to Namikaze Kirito at some point. Yoruichi was still in the cat form. Kurosaki Ichigo was fine, and they didn't need to be on the sidelines to be vigilant. Even if Urahara Kazuki's methods emerge endlessly, he can't resist an enemy who is constantly improving. If anyone in the Soul Society was the first to discover Aizen's anomaly, it would definitely be Urahara Kazuki. After constant testing, finally, Aizen became beyond his control. Urahara Kazuki even had the idea of killing Namikaze Kirito early. As each thought appeared, it was erased, reappeared, and erased again. She had never seen this kind of person before, and his talent was terrifyingly high. Look at the Kido used during Namikaze Kirito's training. In an instant, countless thoughts appeared in his mind. That is the way to fight against Namikaze Kirito. Aizen is a lesson from the past. Even Chant has begun to dabble. In one day, not to mention completely mastering the use of Kido, but at least Kido under the size of 60 can be easily manipulated. Chapter 359. Friends of Kurosaki Ichigo. Kirito-kun is amazing. Urahara Kazuki sighed. He still gave up the idea of killing the other party, let alone whether he could kill the other party directly. Even if he could, he wouldn't act in advance before the other party did something that threatened the world. It's not Urahara Kazuki style to attack people just because of guesswork. This is also the biggest gap between him and Aizen. If Urahara Kazuki can do whatever it takes to achieve his goal, he will definitely be the most difficult person to deal with in the entire Shinigami world. Even Kurosaki Ichigo's explosion may not be able to resist the endless means. After all, even Aizen's biggest cheat, Hogyoku, was created by Urahara Kazuki. Kazuki, do you find it difficult to face this guy? Yoruichi gloated at Urahara Kazuki. As friends for many years, we know each other very well. Yoruichi knew that although Urahara Kazuki looked very serious on the surface, he had his own principles in his heart. Once there is any threat in the world, he will always consider the solution at the first time. Now that the variable Namikaze Kirito appears, it is estimated that Urahara Kazuki will have a headache for a long time. Really, Yoruichi-san, can you stop hitting me all the time? Urahara Kazuki said helplessly. You deserve it. Who made you have so many thoughts in your head every day? It can't be helped, Yoruichi-san. You are not good at this kind of thing, so I can only think about it. Are you saying I'm brainless? Yoruichi said angrily. The black cat's figure flashed, and several paw prints appeared on Urahara Kazuki's face again. Not to mention Urahara Kazuki and Yoruichi fighting here. Tessai Tsukabishi has done his job too, teaching Namikaze Kirito basically all of Kido. Even Kido above the size of 90 came out of the tray. As the former leader of Kido of the Soul Society, when he met such a genius, even if he didn't know the identity of the other person, he still had a kind of love for talent. That's why Tessai Tsukabishi puts a lot of effort into teaching Kido. Kido above number 90 has powerful destructive power, and also has forbidden technique, which will pay a certain price, so I just told Namikaze Kirito the principle and the method of displaying it. Advertisement, and also told him that it must not be used unless it is absolutely necessary. After the teaching, Namikaze Kirito sincerely thanked you. Mr. Tessai, thank you very much, this teaching has really benefited me a lot. You don't need to thank me, it is my honor to meet a genius like you. What's more, with your talent, even if you don't have my teaching, you will learn these things easily when you go to the Soul Society in the future. Tessai Tsukabishi sighed, and then spoke seriously again. Your Excellency Kirito, I shouldn't have said this, but I still hope you can listen to it, and hope that you will not have a hostile day with us. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito was taken aback for a moment, and then said equally seriously, Don't worry, Mr. Tessai, I will not be hostile to you. Even if our ideas are different, I will not be easily changed by anyone. Namikaze Kirito understood Tessai Tsukabishi's concern, not to mention that Urahara Kazuki and others didn't figure out his origin at all. Even if they are not enemies now, if something happens in the future, it is inevitable that a person will change. The world is impermanent, who can guarantee that he will be a good person all his life? Tessai Tsukabishi heard what Namikaze Kirito said, and could feel that the other party was serious, and nodded in relief. The teaching has also ended, and the two returned to the small shop from the ground. As soon as they arrived at the small shop, they found several strangers. They were chatting with Kurosaki Ichigo. Seeing the appearance of Namikaze Kirito, everyone looked over with curious eyes. Among them is Ishida Uryu, an old acquaintance. You know, that night, Ishida Uryu saw Namikaze Kirito's fighting power with his own eyes. There was inevitably a trace of horror in his eyes. Let me introduce to you, this is my benefactor, Namikaze Kirito, who is about the same age as us, just call him Big Brother Kirito. Kurosaki Ichigo started the introduction familiarly. Namikaze Kirito looked at Kurosaki Ichigo in surprise, wondering when he became the other party's savior. As for the day when Byakuya Kuchiki came to this world, even if he didn't make a move, Byakuya Kuchiki would not kill Kurosaki Ichigo. In his eyes, Kurosaki Ichigo is already an ordinary person who has lost the power of Shinigami. With Byakuya Kuchiki's arrogance, he would never attack an ordinary person without any threat. But Kurosaki Ichigo didn't think so, but subconsciously thought that if Namikaze Kirito hadn't appeared, he might have died there. Heard the words of Kurosaki Ichigo these days. Advertisement. An orange-haired woman waving a murder weapon stood up straight away. Thank you for saving Kurosaki-kun, Brother Kirito. As she bowed, the murder weapon almost hit her face. You don't have to be so polite. Namikaze Kirito stretched out his hand to give him a little support, motioning for him to get up. Brother Kirito, you came just in time. These are my friends, Inoue Orihime, Ishida Oolongja. Kurosaki Ichigo started introducing his classmates to Namikaze Kirito. In fact, Namikaze Kirito knows all of them even if he doesn't mention it. How could he not have read the 3 major animes of Sea of Dead Fire in his previous life? If it has evolved to a higher level, wouldn't it be said that there should be no sun in the world, and the sun will disappear directly? As the brainy Urahara Kazuki, Aizen can tell, and of course he can too. It is indeed an unreasonable ability. So is Chadu, the giant's right arm, the demon's left arm. Ishida Rain Dragon is not because of Kurosaki Ichigo's ability to awaken, but because he himself is the Quincy Master. But it is also undeniable that they themselves have special potential. Although except for Ishido Ryu, everyone else has awakened special abilities because they have been in contact with Kurosaki Ichigo for a long time. Just as Namikaze Kirito greeted everyone, Urahara Kazuki trotted over and started chatting with everyone. Zero, if this ability were transferred to someone else, it would be terrifying. Inoue Orihime's ability is recognized by Aizen as the ability to touch the realm of God. It's just that with the adventure with Kurosaki Ichigo, his strength has become stronger and stronger. After knowing the abilities of several people, they immediately agreed to die. At that time, I still felt a little bit of admiration, and there were indeed hanging walls around me. Rukia Kuchiki has formed a lot of bonds in this world for such a period of time. The abilities of Inoue Orihime and others have been awakened, so I want to go to the Soul Society with Ichigo. The rejection of phenomena. With the evolution, the hard steel Shinigami and Shu, even in the bloody battle of the millennium, also exuded a lot of brilliance. Chapter 361st Arrival at Soul Society. It's time to prepare for the Soul Society. Kurosaki Ichigo and his friends are gathered in the basement of the Urahara store. Urahara Kazuki smiled and introduced the world transmitting gate to everyone. The rest of the people except Ichigo are human beings, and their abilities are not Shinigami's spiritual power, but other powers. So you cannot enter the Soul Society in the normal way. Advertisement: if you use an ordinary method, your body will transform into a spirit body, and at that time, Lee K will be useless. Urahara Kazuki also used the most threatening method of passing through Soul Society. 4 minutes. If you can't reach the Soul Society in 4 minutes, you will stay in the gap between the Soul Society and this world forever. Urahara Kazuki said with a serious face. 4 minutes? How is that possible? Boom. As soon as Kurosaki Ichigo yelled, 760, anxiously, he was hit in the waist by Urahara Kazuki with a cane. Although everyone was nervous, Rukia Kuchiki resolutely asked Urahara Kazuki to open the door in order to go. Afterwards, with the joint efforts of Tessai Tsukabishi and Urahara Kazuki, a shining portal appeared in front of everyone. Is it the door to pass through the world? Namikaze Kirito watched the opening of this portal, his eyes full of novelty. In the past few days, he has also gotten acquainted with his abilities, and now he has completely mastered Zanpakuto and Kido. A different aspect to Shinigami also emerges, as it is known that in the world of Shinigami, to liberate Zanpakuto, one must communicate with the sword and then know Zanpakuto's name. With this precondition, the first solution in Bankai can be considered, but Namikaze Kirito has no concerns about this at all. The Zanpakuto on his waist itself is transformed by his own ability, and there is no so-called sword spirit and real name in it. Even if the Demon Sword Village in the Shinigami movie version appeared, it would not have any influence on him. Advertisement: Muramasa's ability is to show the real freedom of Zanpakuto, but Namikaze Kirito's sword does not have any sword spirit, so if his ability is on Namikaze Kirito, it is useless. This made him a little relieved. If there is a sword spirit, it is estimated that Namikaze Kirito will consider how to kill this sword spirit immediately. He didn't mean to get along well with a knife, playing some boring friends game. Kirito-kun, do you really want to go to the Soul Society with them? While Namikaze Kirito was watching the crossing gate, Urahara Kazuki walked up to him and spoke softly. Huh? Can't I go? Namikaze Kirito looked at Urahara Kazuki with interest, as if asking what he meant. Lala, of course not, it's just Kirito-kun. You seem to have been noticed by the Soul Society now. I guess once you enter the Soul Society, you will face a group of people besieging you, then it will be me, probably can't save you. After all, those guys are all unreasonable. Urahara Kazuki shrugged and said helplessly. Is there anything you Urahara Kazuki can't do? But don't worry, I'm just going to the Soul Society to have a look. As for those people who want to catch me, I just run away. Namikaze Kirito said with a bit of tone naughty meaning. Urahara Kazuki looked at Namikaze Kirito carefully, trying to discern the truthfulness of the words from the other's expression. But after watching it for a while, he gave up. Because he can't see anything, he has tried countless times these days. It is said that when a person is speaking, no matter how good his acting skills are, he will have a slight expression change when he is telling a lie. But no matter what Namikaze Kirito said, there was a slight smile on his face. Urahara Kazuki has only experienced this feeling in one person, and that is the old friend of Soul Society, Aizen. But Aizen, at least he can still find the other party's problems, and Namikaze Kirito, I don't know if it's because the contact time is too little, or the other party's hiding is too deep, making it unpredictable. Kazuki, what are you thinking? Are you wondering how to deal with me again? Namikaze Kirito joked when Urahara Kazuki hadn't spoken for a long time. How is it possible? Urahara Kazuki hurriedly proved his innocence to Kaido. After these few days of getting along, I have regarded Kirito-kun as a friend, so how can I treat you? Really, friend, it's really a luxury term, but don't worry, what you think in your heart will not become true, just wait here honestly. After saying that, Namikaze Kirito walked towards the portal. Although he doesn't mind helping Kurosaki Ichigo and his party, it's just a matter of helping out, and he doesn't want to be a nanny. With the fluctuation of light, Namikaze Kirito also disappeared in front of everyone. Advertisement: when entering the world transmitting gate, one saw a deep corridor. Namikaze Kirito, who is familiar with the original work, is very familiar with this. He quickly passed through the corridor, and when he opened his eyes again, the sky was clear. This is also the reason why after Namikaze Kirito came to this world, the power in his body automatically transformed into Zanpakuto. The Soul Society's Seirei, where the Shinigami live, has 4 gates in the southeast, northwest, named Baidao, Qingliu, Black Ridge, and Life. Clean and tidy streets, ancient buildings. How can anyone be so overwhelmed? Just barge in. In this world, there are spirit particles distributed in the air, and there is no such energy as chakra. Of course, except for special circumstances, once someone breaks in, all Shinigami will directly become patrolling guards after the notification is issued. Once someone wants to break in, they will be blocked by the gatekeepers. Of course, these gatekeepers are not too strong, otherwise they would not be sent to guard the gate. As he entered the darkness, the thick city wall was nothing more than something he could cross instantly. As for Jinglingding, there are actually not many people patrolling around. After all, there are 4 gatekeepers, and this is where Shinigami lives. For Namikaze Kirito, it was easy. Sighing at his ability, Namikaze Kirito also looked at the scenery inside Seirei. There are gatekeepers at the 4 gates. It's just that if you want to sneak in, don't make a big fuss. It has to be said that compared with the present world, this place is simply not a product of an era. Immediately, he stretched out his right hand covered by the black glove and flicked lightly in the air. A dark scene appeared directly in front of him. Not far away, there is also a building like a wall. Sure enough, this ability has always been so convenient. So to use ninjutsu, you can only rely on the only remaining chakra in your body. Chapter 361. As for Kurosaki Ichigo and the others, it is estimated that they will still go through the door as in the original book, and then be beaten out by Ichimaru Jin severely, and finally they can only be sent back by borrowing Shiba Chizoru's cannon. Namikaze Kirito didn't mean to wait for them any longer. If he had that time, he might as well go shopping in the Soul Society and see where the power of the world is stronger. The protagonist of Kurosaki Ichigo is completely different from the previous protagonists of Hokage and One Piece. He can be said to be the protagonist with the least fighting spirit, and he is also the one whose strength improves the fastest. Every time he improves his strength, he is forced to save his companions. So on him, although the power of the world is strong, it is useless to slightly change the plot, not to mention that the world is still complete now, if killing Kurosaki Ichigo directly can make the power of the world appear. Namikaze Kirito got his hands dirty as early as the first meeting. The same is true in the previous 2 worlds. Once the world order finds out that the so-called Son of Destiny is dead, it will be destroyed directly to a large extent and then restart the world again. Rather than that, it is better to wait until the progress of the world slowly moves forward, so that once the changes are too large, the world order will appear. 29. That's why Namikaze Kirito leaves his footprints in every world. In addition, don't forget that his previous life was also an otaku on Blue Star, and he finally came to the world of the second dimension. If you don't want to enjoy it, let's take a look at how each character in the original book is doing. With that in mind, Namikaze Kirito didn't hide his figure, since Shinigami are all dressed in the same way anyway, said Namikaze Kirito. The Ryotsu on him can't be faked. This is the status symbol of Shinigami. Along the way, I also met a few Shinigami, probably because of his unique deadly outfit. After all, a black windbreaker, plus an all-black lining and black gloves, this suit is unique. There are also precedents of changing the deadly costumes, such as Shihuan Yoruichi and Sui Feng. For the sake of fighting, they were made into a hanging neck style. There are also Hisagi Shuhei and Muguruma Kensai, and the Seba suit is sleeveless. Just after Namikaze Kirito wandered around for a while, there was a loud noise in the distance. Then there are a lot of Shinigami groups started to go in that direction. Seeing the direction from which the voice came from, Namikaze Kirito knew without hesitation that this must be Kurosaki Ichigo and his group starting to attack the gate line. Advertisement. It is estimated that Ichimaru Jin's squinting eyes should have heard the sound. Before Aizen showed up, he should stay quietly. With this in mind, Namikaze Kirito continued to walk forward, but a door next to him suddenly opened, making a creaking sound. I saw a gentle woman wearing a white captain's haori and 2 braids walking out. The two just met each other. With a quiet and beautiful face, a smiling appearance, and a tall figure, how could Namikaze Kirito not recognize who it is? Captain of Division 4, Unohana Retsu. She has a gentle and peaceful appearance, with long black hair parted in the middle. Because she has a scar left by a battle with Zaraki Kenpachi when she was a teenager, just below her collarbone, she usually wears her hair in a braid and hangs to the front. Often wears a siege suit, and the color of the feather lining is gray sakura. A light-colored belt fastened around the waist with a red drawstring. If there is a battle, the braids tied to the chest will be untied, and the expression and momentum will become completely different. Don't look at such a gentle and quiet appearance now, but she is first-generation Kenpachi. Before joining Gode 13, she was known as the greatest villain in the Soul Society before and after. In terms of strength, among the 13 captains, except for the special existence of Aizen, only the chief captain can dominate them. How did she suddenly appear? With such doubts, Namikaze Kirito looked up, and found that he came to the team building of the 4th Division for some reason after wandering around. No wonder I met this one. You know, in this world, among the people Namikaze Kirito thinks can fight with the current self, Sister Wa is definitely one of them. Soldier, do you know what happened over there? Listening to the voice that makes people feel like a spring breeze, Namikaze Kirito's heart does not have any warmth at all. Don't look at being so gentle when speaking, but when fighting, that crazy appearance is enough to make many people terrified. Ah, I'm sorry Captain, I'm a little distracted. Advertisement. Namikaze Kirito scratched his head, and pretended to be embarrassed. It seems that someone is going to break in. Really, I don't know who is so reckless. Yeah. Yunohana Retsu didn't speak, just smiled with squinted eyes. Yeah. Looking at the expression of the person in front of him, Namikaze Kirito didn't know whether to leave or stay here. Finally, it was Namikaze Kirito who broke the calm. Well, Captain, can I go first? Recently, the Soul Society has been very restless. Why don't you come in and have a cup of tea, team member? Yunohana Retsu still smiled. But Namikaze Kirito seemed to feel the shape of an evil spirit appearing on the opponent's body. Is this the sense of oppression that Sister Wa feels? It's not about strength, but about temperament and feeling. Namikaze Kirito quickly said 453. No need, the captain is so busy, he probably doesn't have time to drink tea with me, a little soldier, not to mention there are villains who want to break into our place. As a member of Gode 13, I don't want to go, let's see how it works. Seeing Namikaze Kirito making a dignified look, Yunohana Retsu couldn't help covering his mouth and chuckling. Then invite you, Mr. Villain, to come in for a cup of tea, or if you keep wandering around like this, you may be in danger of being exposed. Oh. Namikaze Kirito looked at the smiling woman in front of him speechlessly. Shin said, if you can see it, just say it, I was so embarrassed that I acted for a long time. Namikaze Kirito followed Yunohana Retsu into the 4th team's team building with the idea of what comes and what comes. The 4th division is the treatment department of Gode 13. The members are generally good at Kaido. Generally, Shinigami are injured and come here for treatment. However, the members of the 13th team have a tacit understanding, that is, they would rather let a novice treat them than let the captain with a gentle face to treat them. It is said that someone once heard the screams of the people inside Yunohana Retsu's medical room. When the treated person was carried out, he would not say anything when he was asked again. He only said that this place is simply hell. It would be better to die in battle. Although the wound has healed now. But there was a shadow in my heart. Chapter 362 Identity Exposed? Under the leadership of Yunohana Retsu, the two walked through the front yard and came directly to the backyard of the 4th team building. The environment inside is extremely beautiful, which complements Sister Hua's gentle and peaceful appearance. Of course, this is only for those who don't know Sister Hua. Namikaze Kirito knew it. Sister Hua didn't wear the 2 braids because of her gentleness. Those 2 braids were entirely to cover up a huge scar she had left. Soon, the two came to a gazebo and sat down. Tea was already prepared on the stone table. If you don't know the plot of the original book, it is estimated that Namikaze Kirito can't wait to draw his sword at this time. There were 2 empty glasses on the table. It seemed that Sister Hua was waiting for someone. And as soon as he passed by the door of the 4th team's team building, he was invited in by the opponent. When did a ghost, wielding Zanpakuto and slashing people become able to pinch and forget? This is simply impossible. Now, there are only 2 explanations. The first explanation is pure coincidence. Maybe Sister Hua was waiting for someone, but the other party didn't come. I happened to meet Namikaze Kirito, so I invited him in for tea. If it is the second explanation, it would be too scary. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito narrowed his eyes slightly and unconsciously put his hand on the black handle. In this world, he only showed up once and did not use excessive strength, and his body and strength were transformed into this world. According to normal circumstances, this world order should not have noticed any abnormalities. But if Sister Hua can calculate the arrival of Namikaze Kirito, then how could the world order not know? Even though she felt Namikaze Kirito's hostility, Hana still had a gentle smile on her face. I saw her slowly sitting on the stone chair, and then stretched out a hand that was as white as jade, and made a gesture of invitation. Mr. Wicked, why don't you sit down first? Don't worry, I originally planned to drink tea with my vice captain here because I'm free today, but she went out because she received a mission. So fragrant tea, drinking too much by myself, it's a pity. I happened to meet you, so I invited you in. Advertisement. Don't worry, although I know how to use poison, there is no poison here. While talking, Yunohana Retsu poured tea into 2 cups, and she took a sip by herself first. As early as the moment the tea is poured out, the aroma of the tea is already overflowing. Even if Namikaze Kirito doesn't drink much tea, he can still smell a hint of fragrance. I don't know whether it is the tea fragrance, or Yunohana Retsu, the great beauty body fragrance in the Shinigami world. Is Mr. Wicked afraid? Sister Hua smiled while holding a teacup. People have already invited him like this, even if it is a trap, as long as he is a man, he probably won't back down, let alone Namikaze Kirito. He sat directly opposite to Sister Hua, raised the teacup and drank the tea in it. The tea itself should be tasted slowly, not drunk like this. But Sister Hua did not cause the slightest dissatisfaction because of Namikaze Kirito's actions. Instead, because his teacup was empty, she picked up the teapot and poured him another cup. Sister Hua, did you call me, the villain, here just to drink tea? Namikaze Kirito was completely relaxed. They even raised their legs. Hearing the title of Sister Hua, Yunohana Retsu's expression was obviously taken aback, and then he laughed again. This title is really interesting, as expected of Mr. Wicked from the outside world. I've seen what you look like from Captain Kuchiki before, so I'm curious what a powerful Shinigami who has never appeared in Soul Society looks like. I didn't expect to meet by such a coincidence. Of course I want to talk to you. I see. Namikaze Kirito suddenly realized that he should have thought of it a long time ago and had been in contact with Byakuya Kuchiki. How could the Soul Society not have his image? You know, let a captain-level Shinigami go to the real world to capture Rukia Kuchiki. It is impossible for the Soul Society to not have the slightest action. Now that the Soul Society knows about it, it may have been exposed to Aizen. Really, just to join in the fun for a while, did you put yourself in front of the stage? Mr. Wicked doesn't seem to have any fear of this matter. Sister Wa looked at Namikaze Kirito with interest. Advertisement. The reason why she invited Namikaze Kirito here is not some nympho, she is not such a person at all. It's just that Namikaze Kirito has a similar breath of being a murderer. Formerly known as an unprecedented villain, Sister Wa is extremely sensitive to murderous intent. I want to know more about Namikaze Kirito, but also for the safety of Soul Society. She doesn't think it's a good thing to let such a person wander around in Soul Society. In the previous meeting, although only the captain level people had seen the video of Namikaze Kirito, but there were too many people talking, and it would be spread out if they didn't guarantee it all. In addition, the captain did not limit the secrecy of this matter. There may be some team members who know what Namikaze Kirito looks like. Once they meet, it's fine for a smart person to ask for help directly. If you meet someone who keeps going forward, you don't know how things will develop. Coincidentally, this kind of person is not uncommon in the Soul Society, especially the 11th squad that is known for fighting. Zaraki Kenpachi, the captain of the 11th team, as a Kenpachi of this generation, has a strong desire to fight, and all his team members are also like the captain. When he saw Namikaze Kirito catch Bikuya Kuchiki's blade with his fingers, Yuno Hanaretsu, who is also Kenpachi, felt a bigger breath on the spot and began to be confused. Don't think about it, once the two meet, it will be a big battle. Ordinary enemies are nothing more than ordinary enemies. If a strong man like Namikaze Kirito meets Zaraki, it may cause turmoil in the Soul Society. That's why Yuno Hanaretsu invited Namikaze Kirito to his team house. Hearing what Sister Wa said, Namikaze Kirito shrugged indifferently. Why are you afraid? The Soul Society at this time? I really have nothing to be afraid of, but... Speaking of this, Namikaze Kirito put his hands on the stone table, moved his body forward slightly, and said meaningfully, Isn't the most feared person right in front of you, what do you think, sister? As soon as these words came out, Yuno Hanaretsu shook the hand holding the quilt slightly, and a few drops of tea flowed out and landed on the table. The wind in the air seems to have stopped. Although Sister Wa is still smiling, it is different from the previous smile like a spring breeze. This time her smile is like a ghost from hell. Obviously his appearance hasn't changed in any way, but sitting in front of her, he will have such an illusion in his heart. 360th chapter's travel disaster. I don't know how long it has passed, but Namikaze Kirito still maintains the posture of leaning forward. Sister Wa is also holding the teacup, letting the teacup tilt and the tea overflows. Neither of them said a word, they just looked at each other quietly. With a crisp sound of insects, Sister Wa also took the lead in breaking the addiction. She gently put the teacup on the table, took out a white handkerchief, and gently wiped off the water droplets on Yu's hands. He said softly, It seems that Mr. Wicked really knows a lot. Seeing that Sister Wa had lost her aura, Namikaze Kirito also retracted her forward-leaning body, putting one hand on the table and twitching her chin. I do know a lot, but it's just because I can't help but say it like this, so in the eyes of others, I'm afraid I'm the same as that unscrupulous Urahara Kazuki. Puff. Seeing the complaining expression on Namikaze Kirito's face, Sister Wa couldn't help but smile. As an old man of the Soul Society, she certainly knows that man Urahara Kazuki. And she is one of the few people that Sister Wa pays attention to, all because of the amazing IQ shown by the other party inadvertently. It looks like Mr. Wicked is very similar to Urahara Kazuki. Like, Namikaze Kirito showed a disgusted expression. Who would resemble that kind of person? That guy's head is full of 910 conspiracies and tricks. In terms of similarity, probably only Aizen Sosuke is similar to him. Captain Aizen. When this name was mentioned, Sister Wa showed a puzzled expression, but there was also a trace of doubt in her beautiful eyes. You know, although Sister Wa is also a Kenpachi, she is not a pure muscle idiot like Zaraki Kenpachi. In the world of Shinigami, Sister Wa also has a high IQ. Even after being hypnosis-ed by Kyoka Suigetsu, she can still detect problems. It is impossible for such a smart person not to have any doubts about Aizen Sosuke before. It's not that Aizen is showing any signs, it's just that he's perfect. Among Gode 13, he is low-key and humble, treats colleagues with great friendliness, and treats subordinates with ultimate gentleness. Such a person, in the entire 13th team, it is difficult to find a person who has a bad feeling for him. But it is this kind of perfection that makes people feel unreal. Like the name of Aizen Zanpakuto, Kyoka Suigetsu, Sister Wa subconsciously wonders, is there really such a perfect person? Advertisement. That's why when Namikaze Kirito said the name, Sister Hua's, CJFA, beautiful eyes were filled with suspicion. Since there was no evidence, Sister Wa asked, Captain Aizen is the most popular captain in the Soul Society. If you compare his personality, he should be. This sentence did not go on, but Namikaze Kirito also knew what it meant. Doesn't it mean that compared to personality, he should be much stronger than Urahara Kazuki? Indeed, if it is this time, no matter who it is in Soul Society's Aizen, there is nothing wrong with it. But this is just a disguise. Really, in my eyes, the two are almost the same. Oh, it seems that Mr. Wicked really knows a lot of things, even things that I don't know, you know very well, don't know. Team leader. Before Sister Wa finished speaking, a tall woman with a height of nearly 1.9 meters, the vice captain of Division 4, Katetsu Izan, hurried over. He directly interrupted what the captain was about to say. Captain, Brigade was about to enter through the west gate, but was repelled by Captain Ichimaru Jin. Alas, you are not the one. After the report, Yoon also got a clear look at Namikaze Kirito. Immediately turned pale with fright. As the captain of the 4th Division, Sister Wa also takes good care of Katetsu Izan on weekdays. After all, she is the vice captain chosen by herself. So after I saw the video of Namikaze Kirito in the conference hall, I also showed it to Isamu. The eye-catching red hair and handsome face are simply too recognizable. Even among several female vice captains who knew the truth of the matter, they also said that if a man has red hair and ponytail, he is still the most handsome. The kind of abarai, who raises the hairline too high, may be handsome in the eyes of men, but in the eyes of women, it's hard to say. That's why Yang Yin cried out in surprise. She doesn't think her captain can't recognize Namikaze Kirito. Then there are two possibilities. The first is that the captain betrayed the Soul Society and has contact with the man in front of him. Obviously, this guess is not reliable at all. The second possibility is that the team leader may have been hijacked. Advertisement. Thinking of this, Yang Yin didn't care much and directly pulled out the Zanpakuto from his waist. Let go of my captain, you sinner. Seeing Yu Yin pointing at him with a knife, Namikaze Kirito didn't say anything, but gave Sister Wa an inexplicable look. I want to ask Sister Wa, how did you, a person with both strength and IQ, teach such a naive deputy captain? Not to mention Namikaze Kirito didn't hold Yunohana Retsu hostage. Even if he kidnaps him, Yang Yin doesn't think about it. Can she rescue someone who is no match for her own captain, Captain Vice Admiral? Shouldn't you run quickly and ask for help at the first time? Sister Wa was also a little embarrassed by Yang Yin's actions, but thinking that it was Yang Yin's concern for her, she didn't criticize him harshly. He said softly, Yang Yin, take back the knife, this is my guest. But the captain. Yang Yin bit his lip, showing embarrassment. Yang Yin, take back the knife, or are you not even listening to me? Sister Wa was still smiling, but Katetsu Izan shuddered and subconsciously withdrew Zanpakuto. By the way, I haven't asked Mr. Wicked's name yet, it's really impolite. Looking at Sister Hua's smiling face, Namikaze Kirito didn't mean to hide his identity. Anyway, given his name, it is impossible for the Soul Society to find out his origin. My name is Namikaze Kirito. Mr. Namikaze, I'm really sorry, my subordinates are too reckless. Sister Wa bowed her head slightly, apologizing. Namikaze Kirito waved his hand directly. Sister Wa, you are too polite, I don't care at all. This is the subordinate's concern for you, not to mention, she saw me, there should be nothing wrong with her reaction. I should be a criminal wanted by the Soul Society by now, right? Miss Wa? Katetsu Izan seemed to have heard something terrible, his big eyes widened. The sinner in front of him actually called his captain Sister Wa? Is he not going to die? Having been with Sister Wa for so long, even if she doesn't know everything about her, Yang Yin knows her character very well. Throughout Gode 13, no one dared to call Yunohana Retsu by such a frivolous name. Chapter 364. Sister Hua's Invitation. Mr. Namikaze, if you don't mind, you can rest in our team building. After all, you probably don't have any acquaintances in Soul Society, right? The words are not surprising, but Yang Yin was still shocked when Namikaze Kirito called his captain Wajia. Unexpectedly, he was stunned by what Yunohana Retsu said. The wanted criminal of the Soul Society, come to rest in your team building? If the rest of the 13th team knew about this, it would be a disaster. Thinking of this, Yang Yin plucked up his courage and planned to stop his team leader, but Shin's little courage was finally defeated by his team leader's look. Namikaze Kirito also felt a bit of surprise. He didn't think that Sister Wa had taken a fancy to him, or that she had something to ask for help. After all, the other party is not a simple woman, she is already very friendly without direct hands, who would want to help him? What? Does Mr. Namikaze think I'm not safe here? Don't worry, in the backyard, except for me and Yang Yin, no one else will come here on weekdays. Seeming to feel that Namikaze Kirito hesitated, Yunohana Retsu spoke directly to reassure him. I'm not saying it's dangerous, but Sister Wa, is it really okay? I'm a wanted criminal of your Soul Society, Namikaze Kirito joked. Some things can't just be seen on the surface, isn't that what Mr. Namikaze told me just now? Sister Wa said with a smile. She is not a nympho, nor does she have much affection for Namikaze Kirito. The reason why I asked Namikaze Kirito to stay in my team building is to monitor, by my side, and the other is what the other party just said. Aizen Sosuke. As an unprecedented villain, in the current Soul Society, it is impossible for you to say who Sister Wa is afraid of. Even the captain can only defeat her, but not make her afraid. But the man Aizen, although there is nothing unusual, but the murderous Yunohana Retsu just thinks there is something wrong with him. The appearance of Namikaze Kirito confirmed her inner thoughts even more. What's more, since the man next to him knows some things about Aizen, maybe there is a problem, and he can solve it quickly. After several thoughts in her heart, Sister Wa decided to do this. Advertisement. Namikaze Kirito glanced at Sister Wa meaningfully, and then nodded slowly under the gaze of the other party's beautiful eyes. Then I will trouble Sister Wa. Yunohana Retsu covered her mouth with a light smile and said, Don't worry, Mr. Namikaze, I'm absolutely safe here. Just call me Kirito. Looking at the harmonious picture in front of him, Katetsu Izan felt that his three views had been subverted. How long ago have you seen the captain look like this? Could it be in love? This thought made Yunan's face turn red, and he looked at Yunohana Retsu in disbelief. As a captain, of course you know your subordinates. Yang Yin only felt that there seemed to be an evil spirit emerging from Sister Hua's back, and she quickly lowered her head, not daring to think about anything. Present, inside the Urahara store, Yoruichi, Urahara Kazuki, and Kurosaki Ishin, who looks almost like Kurosaki Ichigo, got together. Is it really okay, Kazuki? Just send that guy to the Soul Society like that. Yoruichi is in human form at this time, so you can see the disgusted expression on her face. Oh, Yoruichi-san, do you think he's going to cause chaos in Soul Society? If you speak in this tone again, I'll kill you. Yoruichi raised his fist, and the veins on his forehead bulged. Facing this scene, Kurosaki Ishin has long been used to it and immediately came out to smooth things over. Okay, stop making trouble. My son is in Soul Society now, Kazuki. Don't you know how worried I am as a father? Hearing what Kurosaki Ishin said, Urahara Kazuki immediately said seriously, don't worry Mr. Yiksen, Ichigo has grown up, not to mention, we also need his growth, otherwise, Aizen. Why? Mentioning the word Aizen, Kurosaki Ishin sighed. Even Urahara Kazuki, who was frequently resorting to tricks, couldn't do anything to Aizen, let alone him. This sigh is to express his own powerlessness. Unexpectedly, when his wife died, he was helpless, and when he encountered Aizen, he could only give hope to his son. As a father and husband, he is really disqualified. Advertisement. Seeing Kurosaki Ishin's psychological activities, Urahara Kazuki quickly changed the topic. Maybe there is another turning point in this matter. Ask for flowers. Hearing this, both Kurosaki Ishin and Yoruichi looked at Urahara Kazuki and listened quietly. You guys saw Namikaze Kirito too. His ability is unquestionable. To be honest, if I saw potential in Ichigo against Aizen, then in Namikaze Kirito, I saw Aizen. Kurosaki Ishin also looked straight at Urahara Kazuki. It is because of Aizen, the masked gang, that they are forced to hide in this world, and it is also because of Aizen, Urahara Kazuki and his group, that they live in this small shop. It's all because Aizen is too strong. Urahara Kazuki, who is a genius brain, of course understands Aizen, just as Aizen understands him. In order to be able to deal with Aizen, Urahara Kazuki started training from Kurosaki Ichigo, and every step was basically calculated by him. Can't fight head-on, and is still deeply trapped in the special ability of Kyoka Suigetsu. Of course. Urahara Kazuki continued with a serious face. He's not lying, he's just dabbling in the abilities of Ryotsu and Shinigami. When Namikaze Kirito was training Kido with Tessai Tsukabishi before, even if Urahara Kazuki wasn't there, this was his territory, and he had 10,000 ways to see the other side's situation. Coupled with the Ryotsu that Namikaze Kirito exuded unconsciously, it all made Urahara Kazuki feel the pressure for. Urahara Kazuki clearly knew that it was definitely not the limit of Namikaze Kirito to cast a Kido below 60 within a few days, and he didn't know if the other party was hiding or there was some reason. As a close friend for many years, what Urahara Kazuki said, even if Yoruichi refuted it, he still believed in it in his heart. There is nothing terrible about being able to use Kido below the size of 60. What is terrible is that you can master it in just a few days, and you still have enough power. The evaluation of this sentence cannot be said to be low. There is no hope at all in confronting it head-on. That family. Namikaze Kirito, does he really have that ability? Yoruichi looked at Urahara Kazuki in disbelief. Why is this happening? Unexpectedly, in just a few days, Urahara Kazuki would have such a big evaluation of Namikaze Kirito. What's more, among the Shinigami, there is no one who has not fallen into the other party's Zanpakuto. It is because Urahara Kazuki said this because he monitored the training of Namikaze Kirito. Chapter 365 Death of Aizen. The most important thing is the jet black Zanpakuto. Presented as the inseparable soul power of Shinigami, it is carried by the sealed state created by the second team, Wang Yu of the Zero Division. Embody the power within the soul of the Shinigami. Therefore, Zanpakuto largely determines the strength of a Shinigami. For example, the captain, Ryujin Jaka, as the oldest and most powerful Zanpakuto, his ability is beyond doubt. Even if he is not out of the sheath, he can feel its terrifying high temperature. Another example is Toshiro, Zanpakuto, the strongest in the ice and snow department. Before he became a Shinigami, he also emitted cold air from his spirit body, which almost killed his grandmother. Urahara Kazuki not only understands Zanpakuto, he can even transform Zanpakuto. But just because he understands the characteristics of Zanpakuto, when facing any Shinigami, he can roughly feel the 690 intensity of its Zanpakuto. When he saw Namikaze Kirito's Zanpakuto, it gave him a completely different feeling. It's not that there is any oppressive force interfering with him, but that he only feels a chaos, like an abyss, bottomless. It is because of this that Urahara Kazuki did not interfere too much with Namikaze Kirito's going to the Soul Society, or in other words, he may not have involved. Rather than doing this, it is better to help the other party directly, just like Aizen understands his character. Urahara Kazuki also understands Aizen. After such a variable reached Soul Society, he didn't believe that Aizen could still sit still. Once the opponent is in a mess, his chance will come. Maybe this time, we are really going to face Aizen, so I brought you here to tell you to be ready to fight at any time. Otherwise, when the opportunity comes, we won't be able to grasp it. I have already notified Hiriko Shinji. Urahara Kazuki lowered the brim of his hat so that the two people on the side couldn't see the worry on his face. Knowing that Namikaze Kirito might face off with Aizen, Urahara Kazuki had mixed feelings. The good news is, maybe Namikaze Kirito can bring an unexpected surprise, and Aizen will lose both, or let the other party show his flaws. It is also worrying because of this point. Namikaze Kirito is an uncontrollable factor, and may be hostile to Aizen, but if it goes in the same direction, it will be for them. Advertisement. The problem is even bigger. Kurosaki Ishin probably understood what Urahara Kazuki meant at this time, and also guessed this point, and said worriedly, "Is it really all right? If that person is really as strong as you guessed, once he is bewitched by Aizen, we're going to be in more trouble." Kazuki. Yoruichi also had a worried look on her face. At this time, she had no intention of bullying Urahara Kazuki. Ha ha ha, if that time really comes, I'm afraid Ichigo will be troubled. After all, even I can't see through the power in his body. Urahara Kazuki waved his small fan, and became indecisive again. Facing this scene, Kurosaki Ishin just shook his head helplessly, while Yoruichi clenched his fists again. Unlike Urahara Kazuki and others who are discussing countermeasures, Namikaze Kirito of Soul Society is having a good time these days. With Sister Wa to drink tea with, when you are bored, you can still tease Yang Yin, why not do it? As for wanting to visit the Soul Society, there is no need to worry about this matter at all. The Soul Society will be in chaos soon. Sure enough, just today, when Namikaze Kirito was drinking tea with Sister Wa, the Soul Society's alarm goes off. Captain of the 5th Division, Aizen Sosuke died last night. His body was nailed to the wall with a knife, and blood flowed all over the floor. Sister Wa and Yang Yin, as the captain and vice captain of the 4th team, and they are also in the medical department, must go to check the situation. After explaining for a while, Sister Wa left with Yang Yin. Only Namikaze Kirito was left sitting on the stone chair, looking at the blue sky indifferently. If I guessed correctly, Kurosaki Ichigo is about to enter at this time, and the Calm Soul Society is about to usher in a huge wave. I just don't know, this time, if I can find an opportunity to observe the order of this world. The day passed quickly. Waji and Yang Yin, who are good at Kaido, must find out the cause of Aizen's death, so there is no chance to come back. Sister Wa didn't come back until night fell. Yang Yin's face was already full of exhaustion. Although Sister Hua's condition was better, there was still a slight sadness between her beautiful eyebrows. After coming to the backyard, seeing Namikaze Kirito still sitting there, Sister J couldn't help being a little surprised. Advertisement didn't expect the other party to sit here so obediently all day long? I have already asked my team members, and within a day, no one has walked out of this backyard at all. In fact, when she saw Aizen's death, Sister Wa had a suspicion that it was Namikaze Kirito. But this doubt was quickly overturned by her. Not to mention, Namikaze Kirito has been in the 4th Division these days. Even if he really has great skills, bypassing his own eyes and ears and going to assassinate Aizen, it's not right. You know, when she talked about Aizen with Namikaze Kirito before, she could clearly see a trace of seriousness in the eyes of the other party. In other words, Aizen is also a strong opponent in the eyes of Namikaze Kirito. Under such circumstances, how could he be assassinated so easily? Sister Wa also has a deep understanding of what is wrong with Aizen, so the matter of death has become suspicious. It's not that he didn't think about Aizen's suspended animation, but after carefully observing his corpse, no matter what aspect it is, he can't see any problems. Isn't this contradictory? Seeing Sister Wa walking towards him, Namikaze Kirito joked, "Sister Wa, are you done with your work? Is that guy Aizen dead?" "How do you know?" Sister Hua's beautiful eyes tightened. She didn't know how the news got out. That is to say, is this person really 1.7 related to Aizen's death? Thinking of this, Sister Wa sat directly opposite Namikaze Kirito, and at some point, that hand, as white as jade, was placed on the handle of the knife. Namikaze Kirito obviously noticed the other's movement, but he didn't care at all. Not to mention that Aizen is not dead at all, even if he is dead, so what if Sister Wa misunderstands that he killed him? Namikaze Kirito, who understands Sister Hua's personality, knows that at this time, she will definitely not attack him. "You don't need to be so hostile. I've been drinking tea with you here these days. Do you still suspect that I'll use the clone technique to kill Aizen?" Speaking of this, Namikaze Kirito said to himself that he really knows the clone technique. It's just that Aizen is not weak enough to be killed with a clone. Chapter 366 Soul Society Chaos. Sister Wa doesn't know that Namikaze Kirito has so many mental activities. When I heard Namikaze Kirito's denial for the first time, the suspicion in my heart disappeared. It's not that Sister Wa trusts Namikaze Kirito so much, but that after getting along for a few days, Sister Wa discovered that Namikaze Kirito has an air of superiority. For so many years in the Soul Society, she has only seen this kind of aura on the body of the captain. Such a person, who absolutely disdains to lie, is completely different from the current Aizen. Aizen is arrogant in his bones, but after all, he is still in the Soul Society, so he didn't show it. The real high-ranking aura only came out after he left the Soul Society. During this time, I'm afraid the Soul Society will be in chaos. If you want to visit, please wait a few days, Sister Wa said softly. Namikaze Kirito proposed to visit the Soul Society before, and Sister Wa also agreed, but recently this day is really inappropriate. The captain of the 5th Division, death, and the execution of Rukia Kuchiki will be ushered in soon. During this time, the Soul Society has been completely on alert. Even if Yuno Hana Retsu is the captain of Division 4, it is impossible for him to bring a wanted criminal from the Soul Society to appear in everyone's field of vision. In that case, it would be easy for people to look at her, and it would be easier for the real sinner to complete his plan. Regarding Sister Hua's proposal, Namikaze Kirito shrugged indifferently. To visit the Soul Society, you only need to wait until Rukia Kuchiki is executed. At that time, the entire Soul Society will fall into civil strife. Captain Yamamoto confronts two of his students, Jashiro and Harumizu. Yoruichi confronts Sui Feng. Kurosaki Ichigo faced Byakuya Kuchiki, and finally the whole team faced Aizen. The Soul Society simply doesn't have the energy to take care of him as an outsider, of course, it's just that the Shinigami here in Jinglingding doesn't have the energy. If you include Team Zero and Sister Wa, it will be troublesome. Time soon turned to night, and Toshiro and Ichimaru Jin also fought against Hinamori Momo. It can be said that the woman Hinamori Momo was scolded miserably by many netizens in the original book. Being obsessed with Aizen wholeheartedly, these friends who are sincere to her are all unlucky, especially Toshiro. In the chapter of Aizen, the injury is not healed. All because of Hinamori Momo. Advertisement. But what is wrong with a person who acts wholeheartedly for the person he is obsessed with? It's just a different stand. And another major event happened in Soul Society, that is, the travel accident, that is, Kurosaki Ichigo entered. On the way to rescue Rukia Kuchiki met Zaraki Kenpachi and the two had a fierce fight. Ended with Kurosaki Ichigo winning. Finally, the day of Rukia Kuchiki's execution arrived. All the captains and vice-captains had to go to watch the ceremony. In fact, every captain knew in his heart that Rukia Kuchiki should not be punished like this. But there is no way, the rules are the rules, the 46th room has already issued a judgment, and it is useless for anyone to raise opinions. The execution was also decided on Sokyoku. The hair of Sokyoku has the destructive power of 1 million Zanpakuto, and it penetrates the sinner's body in the form of a huge golden phoenix. Under the witness of all, the golden phoenix charged directly at Rukia Kuchiki with wisps of fire, but just as it was about to penetrate her, one directly blocked her. Yo, Rukia. Everyone was confused by this accident, just when everyone was planning to do something. I saw that Jashiro Yukitaki, who was ill, appeared here directly, and brought a secret weapon capable of sealing Sokyoku. Kiraku Shunsui also cooperated on the other side, and the two worked together to make the phoenix that Sokyoku transformed into disappear immediately. Jashiro, Harasui. Grandpa Yamamoto watched his two most proud disciples make such a betrayal behavior. His old eyes were still calm. No anger or other emotions. With Sokyoku's thread gone, Kurosaki Ichigo threw Rukia Kuchiki straight out of the sky into Renji's hands. And he officially started facing all the Shinigami. He killed the three vice-captains in an instant. It has to be said that Namikaze Kirito had always thought that he was the fastest-growing protagonist, which was not wrong. Just a few days ago, he suffered a big loss in this world. In such a short period of time, he was so powerful directly, and his potential can be seen as Madara. The real conflict also broke out at this moment. Byakuya Kuchiki stood in front of Kurosaki Ichigo. Advertisement Sui Feng, the captain of the assassination team, was about to make a move when he was also shot down by a weed-colored sister, Yoruichi. As for the captain, he had already gone to teach the two proud disciples again. Of course, Sister Wa is still doing her job honestly, and the current Soul Society has not yet reached the time when she needs to take action. Boom boom boom. On the stage of Sokyoku, there was constant roar. When Kurosaki Ichigo met Byakuya Kuchiki for the first time, he was powerless to fight back. Now he has begun to confront head-on. The two of them, one black and one white, made the surrounding mountains tremble continuously. The battle didn't take long from the beginning to the end. It was the first time that Kurosaki Ichigo used his virtual power when he was in crisis. Wearing a patterned mask, if he hadn't forcibly torn off his mask at the last moment, it is estimated that Byakuya Kuchiki would have become a ghost under the knife. That's why Urahara Kazuki fell in love with Kurosaki Ichigo. Nothing but pure potential, with Shinigami and Quincy in his body. Final scene, White Emperor Sword. It's a pity I don't have such gorgeous moves. All I can do is put all my Ryotsu in this one hit. Kurosaki Ichigo's black Ryotsu and Byakuya Kuchiki's White Emperor Sword collided. On the Sokyoku stage, one black and one white light erupted directly. The spiritual power is so strong that even if other people have been scattered everywhere, they still look sideways at him. This is definitely a collision of two captain-level characters with full firepower. At the same time, Sister Wa seemed to have guessed something, and brought Yang Yin to the place where Aizen's corpse was. Toshiro, the captain of the 10th Division, was just beheaded by Aizen. Matsumoto Rangaku, the top sister, also looked at her partner, Ichimaru Jin, who had played with her since she was a child, with disbelief. Aizen, as expected. Seeing that Toshiro fell to the ground so easily, Sister Wa did not show the slightest fear, but began to check Toshiro's injuries. Aizen on the side also didn't intend to do anything to Sister Wa. Of course Aizen can feel the power contained in Sister Hua's body. If there is a fight at this time, I'm afraid the plan will not be completed smoothly. Chapter 367. Meeting Aizen. However, if Unohana Retsu is going to stop him, then Aizen doesn't mind adding another body here. After some pleasantries, it was obvious that neither side had any intention of fighting. Unohana Retsu wants to heal Toshiro. If he misses the best treatment period, his life will be in danger, and Aizen also wants to get what belongs to him. Taking Ichimaru Jin, the two left here together. With Aizen gone, Iruma also used Kido to cut through the sound. Confirmed the fact that Aizen is not dead, but betrayed. This time, the captains in the battle collectively stopped their hands. This kind of chaos happened in the Soul Society, and even the people in room 46 were slaughtered by Aizen. If the matter is not resolved as soon as possible, the job as Gode 13 will fall to the ground. At the same time, Sokyokudai, Kurosaki Ichigo and Byakuya Kuchiki had already decided the winner. Even though Kurosaki Ichigo's body was covered with injuries, but looking at Byakuya Kuchiki who fell to the ground, he knew that this battle was Kurosaki Ichigo's victory. But he also heard the Yongin warning that came immediately. It was Sister Hua's instruction. Not only to inform Kurosaki Ichigo and others, but also Namikaze Kirito, who has been hiding in the dark to watch the excitement. Is it finally starting? In fact, Namikaze Kirito wants to take a closer look at Aizen. After all, he liked this character very much in his previous life, but the reason for this is more than just to watch the excitement. It is to experience the so-called Hogyoku up close, whether it can really fulfill other people's desires. What kind of force or substance made Hogyoku? Renji and Rukia Kuchiki were on the way to escape when they were directly stopped by Aizen and Ichimaru Jin. Just when Renji was still wondering about Aizen's resurrection and Ichimaru Jin's counterparts in front of him, he also heard Yuyen's announcement at the same time. Captain Aizen. Both Renji and Rukia Kuchiki looked in disbelief, completely disbelieving that Aizen had betrayed the Soul Society. Before, everyone guessed that there was something wrong with Ichimaru Jin. He squinted and smiled every day, like a snake hiding in the dark, making people feel dangerous. Just to face, Renji's arm was covered with blood. Advertisement. You dodge very well, Abarai. I'm very happy that you have grown up, Tilda. Holding Kyoka Suigetsu in his hand, Aizen said with a smile on his face. Those who didn't know thought he was helping Renji practice. But if you can, I still hope you don't insist too much. If you want to walk through without trampling the ants to death, the strength is very difficult to control. As your former officer, I can't bear to watch you die. With a gentle look on his face, it seemed that Aizen was really worried about Renji's life and death, but only Ichimaru Jin opened his eyes behind Aizen, looking at Aizen's back, wondering what he was thinking. Renji. Seeing Renji's heavy breathing, Rukia Kuchiki cried out worriedly. Shut up, Rukia. Renji's eyes were fixed on Aizen. What do you mean you can't bear me to die, then why do you want to kill me? Hearing this, Aizen said softly, she can't live without me. I taught her this way, don't you think I killed her out of sympathy for her? These words made Renji's face full of seriousness. He and Hinamori Momo are good friends. My good friend respects Aizen so much, but Aizen is so ruthless. Ignoring Renji's expression, Aizen continued, but it's true that I don't want to kill her, so I tried my best to make Kira and Hitsugaya fight each other. But it's not going well, so I have no choice but to do it myself. I see. Renji's face became more and more gloomy. Whether it means Kira or Hinamori, they are all under your control. You too, Abarai. I finally understand that you are no longer the Captain Aizen we know. I don't know what your purpose is, but I will never give Rukia to you, Renji said loudly. I'm not the Aizen Sosuke you know. Under the sunlight, Aizen's eyes glowed, making it difficult for people to see his eyes clearly. Unfortunately, that was your delusion, Abarai. The Aizen Sosuke you know never existed in the first place. Ah. Advertisement. Holding the knife with one hand, Renji volleyed into the air and slashed in the direction of Aizen. Roar. Snake-tail Gen. Shikai. An ordinary samurai sword directly becomes like a snake in midair, section by section, and the tip pierces through the air. But facing the attacking blade, Aizen didn't mean to dodge, but just raised the hand holding the knife. Zabumaru was stopped easily. Shikai. With your badly injured body, you can't even buy more time. Renji had no intention of giving up, swung Zabumaru and attacked Aizen again. What a nerve-wracking fellow. Aizen directly stretched out a hand and grabbed Zabumaru's blade in the palm of his hand. The snake-like blade also rolled into a ball and fell to the ground. Even with bare hands, Renji's face was full of horror, and at the same time, he remembered in his mind that when he came to the present world, that mysterious man blocked Byakuya Kuchiki's blade with only one finger. How similar the current scene is, the difference is that he is not stronger than Byakuya Kuchiki, and the opposite is not the mysterious man that day. Sure enough, among the three, you are the most troublesome one, Abarai. While talking, Aizen raised Zabumaru in his hand, and Kyoka Suigetsu waved it, and Zabumaru directly, Li Hao Jiao, shattered. Not far away, Renji's pupils shrank, and a huge wound directly traversed his shoulder and neck, and a large amount of blood sprayed out. Renji's body softened immediately, and he fell to his knees on the ground. Aizen didn't know when, and came to him. Abarai, I was sure that when I met the three of you, I could use it, so when you joined Gode 13, I immediately placed you in the 5 teams. Then relatively speaking, the 2 people who are more useful will become my Yin subordinates. As for you, who is the most troublesome, I will send it to other teams. Looks like my instincts were right. I say one last time, drop Rukia Kuchiki and step aside. Wait a minute. Captain Aizen, Before Renji could speak, Rukia Kuchiki shouted anxiously. Obviously intending to let him spare his friends. Chapter 368. Arriving Kurosaki Ichigo, I reject. Obviously, just like Rukia Kuchiki is for Renji's sake, Renji also won't give up on his friends. Even though he was seriously injured, Zanpakuto was reduced to pieces, but he never thought of letting go of Rukia Kuchiki. Who said I'm going to let go? You be *****************. D. Renji looked at Aizen with a smile. At this moment, he also knew that he would not even have the chance to escape, let alone the few people in front of him. However, there is still no intention of softening. Yeah. Aizen narrowed his eyes slightly, and slowly raised Kyoka Suigetsu in his hand. That's a pity. Just on the one where Kyoka Suigetsu landed, Ichimaru Jin behind and Tusen Kanami who rushed up could only feel a gust of wind blowing by. Clang. The black blade directly blocked the falling Kyoka Suigetsu. Renji also widened his eyes. Unexpectedly Kurosaki Ichigo rushed over. What are you doing, squatting there like Rukia is heavy? I'm here to help, Renji. Kurosaki Ichigo swung the blade vigorously, and took Renji and Rukia Kuchiki back with the force of the shock. His pupils stared at Aizen and the others tightly, the veins on his hands could be seen by 730, and he was not without a trace of nervousness. Sorry, I asked you to help. He bowed his head a little guilty twice. Facing this scene, Kurosaki Ichigo, like other anime protagonists, began to play with Bao, and he showed a mocking expression. Just bringing Rukia makes you so embarrassed. Although it's just running away, is it too heavy for you to bring a salute? Huh? Renji's face also darkened. What are you talking about? I think you are the worst. What did you say? Is this what you should say to the person who saved you? You're an idiot. I meant to say thank you. At this moment, Rukia Kuchiki, who was pressed on the chest by Renji and was about to suffocate, finally broke free, first punched Renji, and then panted heavily. Stupid. Do you want me to challenge the breath-holding record? Aizen and others just watched the farce quietly from the sidelines. Ichimaru Jin smiled and said, sorry, I thought it would be bad to shoot casually, so I didn't stop him and let him rush over. Hearing this, Aizen said softly, well, it doesn't matter, whether the dust to be removed is 1 or 2, it looks the same. Advertisement Kurosaki Ichigo and Renji, who were still fighting, also heard Aizen's words and turned their heads to look at him at the same time. That guy, is that Aizen? Kurosaki Ichigo met Aizen for the first time, and his intuition told him that the man in front of him was very strong. Yeah. Renji nodded. Do you still have the strength to escape? Although I still want to stay and fight. You should understand that even if you can escape, it is useless. Therefore, although you can't say that you can defeat them, you must at least restrain their actions as much as possible. Go straight down from here, huh? I really can't do anything about you. In that case, let's stand on the same front for the time being. Kurosaki Ichigo knew that what Renji said was true, since they directly found the place where Rukia was. It is undoubtedly impossible to escape. Once the two were ready, Renji posed with the broken Zanpakuto in his hands. I can only use this move once, but if it hits the enemy, it will definitely reveal a flaw. You have to seize this opportunity to attack. Understood. Kurosaki Ichigo's face was also full of seriousness, and when his eyes were full of seriousness, he suddenly seemed to see a figure in the distance. But thinking of the next battle, he still immersed himself and planned to fight with all his strength. Rukia is also looking at the two nervously. She doesn't have any strength now, so she can only stand by like this weakly. Just like when Byakuya Kuchiki went to the present world, she could only, CJFE, stand there and watch Kurosaki Ichigo fall. This powerlessness made her very uncomfortable. It might hurt, bear with it, Zabumaru. Renji looked at his broken knife and murmured in his heart. Then he slammed the knife on the ground, and the pieces of the knife scattered around seemed to be pulled by the force. Began to float into the air. Come on, Zabumaru. The baboon teeth bite. The sections of the blade were covered by pink light, and as Renji waved the hilt in his hand, the sections of the blade suddenly fell from midair, attacking Aizen and the others. Blue Ryotsu also bloomed from Kurosaki Ichigo's body, and then quickly ran towards Aizen. There is only one chance. You must seize it. Advertisement. With a dodge, he came directly in front of Aizen, and swung the black Zangetsu in his hand towards Aizen's neck. But there was a scene that made them desperate. Aizen stretched out a finger and directly blocked Kurosaki Ichigo's blade. With a random swing of the knife, a large amount of blood burst out from Kurosaki Ichigo's body. Oh, I was going to cut you in half. Did you cut it too shallow? Aizen withdrew the fingers holding the knife, but at this moment, Kurosaki Ichigo also had no strength to fight back, holding the knife, and supporting his body to prevent him from falling down. How is it possible? Renji watched this scene in horror. When Kurosaki Ichigo appeared just now, he felt Ryotsu on him. It was Ryotsu who was no less than the captain class. Your mission is over. The memory of the dead came back again. Ah, by the way, are you immobilized because of my Ryotsu influence? Aizen's figure disappeared in place. Kurosaki Ichigo and Renji fell to the ground one after another. Then he reached out and grabbed Rukia Kuchiki by the collar of the sinner and lifted him up. But even so, facing Aizen, he is still no match for a finger. Disappear. Rukia Kuchiki has no support now and can only stand there helplessly. Are you still conscious? The vitality far above your strength has actually hurt yourself. You'd better not move. You have already played your part. Kurosaki Ichigo, who had fallen, braced his seriously injured body and planned to stand up. Although I don't want to admit it, Kurosaki Ichigo is stronger than him at this time by not a single star. Before Renji finished speaking, he only felt a pain in his body, and the blood on his body spewed out again as if he didn't want money. Come on, stand up, Rukia Kuchiki, Aizen's gentle voice sounded. Aizen also approached slowly. Whoosh, blocking knives with fingers has almost become Renji's psychological shadow. Chapter 369 The Limits of Shinigami. Aizen began to slowly talk about his plan. From the beginning to the end, the matter of Kurosaki Ichigo breaking into the Soul Society was all in his calculations. Thanks to Kurosaki Ichigo doing this, he was able to take advantage of the chaos to complete his plan, otherwise he would have faced Gode 13 head-on. Even someone as proud as Aizen doesn't think this is a wise thing. After all, Hogyoku had been inside Rukia Kuchiki's body before. Aizen has reached the limit of Shinigami, and only Hogyoku can make him break this limit. At present, he probably doesn't have the strength to deal with the captain. What's more, if there is a real disturbance in Gode 13, who knows whether the background of the Soul Society will directly suppress it. For example, the ruthless people hidden among the various nobles, or the mysterious Zero Team. Having been in the Soul Society for too long, coupled with Aizen's top IQ, he understands many secret things. Otherwise, they wouldn't bother to let Kurosaki Ichigo's mishaps mess up the Soul Society. He is taking the opportunity to execute the plan. Listening to what Aizen said, Kurosaki Ichigo's 3 views were about to be shattered, and he thought that all of this was his own choice. In the end, it turned out to be just a pawn of Aizen. He even became the biggest accomplice in helping him complete the plan. Kurosaki Ichigo, who has always been full of justice, can't believe this kind of thing, but what the other party said is obviously true. Thinking of this, Kurosaki Ichigo doubted himself. Let me tell you. While talking, Aizen grabbed Rukia Kuchiki and walked forward slowly. Shinigami has the 4 most basic fighting styles: slash, white hits, footwork, and Kido, but these 4 have so-called strength limits. No matter what kind of ability is cultivated to ultimate, it will hit the wall of the strength of the soul and stop growing. That is to say, that is the limit of Shinigami. Is there no way to break through it and strengthen all abilities beyond the limit? Yes, there is only one, and that is, will Shinigami hollow? A meaningful expression appeared on Aizen's face. When Kurosaki Ichigo heard this, his face was full of cold sweat. He had been fighting with Shu before, and he almost turned into Shu in order to get the power of Shinigami again. And when he was fighting in Black Byakuya Kuchiki before, even if he didn't need to perceive it carefully, he could know that it was the power of Shu. Advertisement: I have done countless experiments, but none of them are ideal, but besides me, there are others who have conducted experiments. Urahara Kazuki. He created a substance that can surpass the limits of Void and Shinigami in an instant and surpass the common sense of the Soul Society. It was an extremely dangerous substance, and he felt the danger, but in the end, he couldn't destroy the Hogyoku he created. So, he had no choice but to use a method, which is to bury Hogyoku in his soul. As Aizen slowly told, both Kurosaki Ichigo and Rukia Kuchiki were shocked. They didn't expect that Urahara Kazuki, who is usually not serious at all, has such powerful research ability. Even more unexpectedly, Urahara Kazuki actually buried Hogyoku in Rukia's body. Kurosaki Ichigo himself fell into self-doubt. Hearing what Aizen said, it turns out that they are also pawns in the hands of Urahara Kazuki. Such a gap is indeed unacceptable for a while. You have been discovered in this world, so I will immediately send the 46 room. Boom. Just as Aizen was speaking to Rukia Kuchiki, a huge figure fell from midair and landed directly behind Aizen. The captain of the 7th Division, Komamura Sajin, belongs to the werewolf family and has an animal body. He was often discriminated against because of his appearance, but he was valued by the captain in order to repay his kindness. Komamura Sajin practiced hard and finally took the position of the captain of the 7th team. At the same time, there is another person who doesn't care about his appearance, and that is Tusen Kanami, who can't see the glory of the world. If he can't see it, how can he discriminate against him? Aizen. Komamura Sajin let out a roar, and then a huge blade slashed directly towards Aizen's head. Boom. There was a tremor on the ground, and countless dust was splashed by the strong slash. When the dust and smoke cleared, history repeated itself. Aizen still easily caught Zanpakuto with his hands. Aizen, you cheated and betrayed us all, and I will never forgive you, and you, Tusen. Komamura Sajin's face was full of anger. Tusen, do you have anything to say? *O. Advertisement seeing that Tusen Kanami, a close friend, didn't have the slightest intention to speak. Komamura Sajin was even more angry, raised his Zanpakuto, and a huge Ryotsu emanated from his body. Bankai. But just when he was about to liberate Zanpakuto, Aizen with a smile on his face had come to him at some point. How can it be? Aizen is still by Tusen's side. He looked at Aizen, who was standing next to Tusen Kanami, and then looked in front of him. The two people are exactly the same, even the Ryotsu on their bodies are exactly the same, there is no slight difference. But at this moment, Aizen beside Tusen Kanami slowly dissipated in the air, just like the reflection of the moon in the water in the mirror. 090 of Hado, Black Coffin, Hour. A black and purple light flashed, and Komamura Sajin's tall body was also wrapped in a black square coffin. As Aizen turned around, Black Coffin burst and Komamura Sajin also fell directly on the ground. It's also at the captain level, but it's so vulnerable? Kurosaki Ichigo fell to the ground, watching this scene in shock. At first, I thought that Rukia should be saved if a captain arrived, but I didn't expect hope to be followed by despair. Even if they are both captains, it seems that they are not in the same dimension as Aizen. There wasn't even any extreme fighting, it was just a face-to-face meeting, and they fell to the ground. Aizen seemed to be intentionally telling Kurosaki Ichigo about the process of his fight just now. Kyoka Suigetsu's complete hypnosis is comprehensive. Even if you know you have been tricked, there is no way to escape. Ichimaru Jin also took Rukia Kuchiki and walked forward slowly, and said with a smile, Kido above number 90 give up chanting, it's really scary. How did you learn this trick? Aizen also walked towards Ichimaru Jin, and said, no, it failed, and it has not yet used 1/3 of the original destructive power. The Kido of the 90 is really not easy to use. Next, Aizen reached out to Rukia Kuchiki. Taking over Rukia Kuchiki from Ichimaru Jin, Aizen turned to look at Kurosaki Ichigo. Sorry, the conversation with you seems to be incomplete. Chapter 370 Hogyoku appears at this moment. Kurosaki Ichigo's partners rushed over anxiously, seeing the scene in front of them, sweating on their foreheads. You guys, don't come here, Kurosaki Ichigo yelled frantically as he lay on the ground. It was a fight with Aizen just now, but it was more like being crushed, and the opponent blocked with his fingers all the blows with all his strength. Where would I let my friends come to die, Kuchiki? Inoue Orihime saw Rukia Kuchiki being held by Aizen's neck, and shouted hastily. At this moment, Ichimaru Jin suddenly blocked Aizen, looked at Inoue and others and said, "Oh, you are not allowed to interfere." After all, a powerful Ryotsu appeared, directly knocking these friends of Kurosaki Ichigo to the ground, unable to move at all. Namikaze Kirito, who saw this scene in the dark, couldn't help smiling. 533. Only he, who is familiar with the original work, knows that Ichimaru Jin did this entirely to protect Inoue and others. Will their meddling defeat Aizen? No way, not even the qualifications for Aizen to draw his sword. With Aizen's character, it is estimated that once Inoue Orihime and others charge up, they will be killed instantly. I have to say that although Ichimaru Jin has tried his best to pretend to be betraying the Soul Society, he still has many flaws as an undercover agent. Aizen's IQ can't tell that there is a ghost. During the decisive battle in Karakura Town, Aizen also said that he knew from the beginning that Ichimaru Jin was an undercover agent, but he wanted to see how Ichimaru Jin would kill himself. That's why he kept the other party by his side. Aizen didn't say much, but looked at Rukia Kuchiki and said slowly, "Rukia Kuchiki, when you were discovered in this world, I immediately took action, that is, the massacre of room 46. I'm afraid that's what Yongin heard. Aizen Sosuke was killed and disappeared, but in fact that was wrong. After you were discovered, I killed the people in the 46 room and cast Hyoga Suigetsu on everyone in the underground meeting hall. I set up the illusion that room 46 is still alive, and among the three of us, one person usually stays in the meeting hall. So far, I have been pretending to be room 46 and issued all orders. I will go to capture your people were replaced by those two from Division 6. In order to keep you away from humans, in order to completely vaporize your soul, I ordered you to be executed by Sokyoku. All three of us left the council hall, only a few hours before and after the second captain meeting. After that I immediately pretended dead, and lurking in the underground meeting hall. I deduce that the sentence may fail because of your actions. There are only two ways to take out the things that are directly buried in the soul. One is to use super high thermal destructive power to completely vaporize the soul like Sokyoku. As for the other, advertisement after all, Aizen directly took out something from his arms, which was Urahara Kazuki's previous research, and Aizen brought it out of the research room. Because the foreign matter buried in the soul was the result of his research. Boom. The thing in Aizen's hand emitted a puff of smoke, and then the ground shook, and several green spikes grew out, surrounding Rukia Kuchiki. And one of his hands turned completely green. This is the answer. In Rukia Kuchiki's fear and Kurosaki Ichigo's rage, Aizen thrust his hand directly into Rukia Kuchiki's chest. Soon, something like a diamond was taken out. A hole was opened in the chest, but Rukia Kuchiki didn't seem to have suffered any injuries. It really surprised me, it turned out to be such a small thing. Aizen looked at the Hogyoku in his hand, with a hint of surprise in his tone. At this time, the hole in Rukia Kuchiki's chest also slowly healed. Is the soul itself unharmed? It's an amazing technology, but unfortunately, I have no use for it. After all, Aizen lifted Rukia Kuchiki up directly. Kill him, Silver. Ichimaru Jin, who was still shocking ordinary people with Ryotsu, turn around directly, it can't be helped. After all, he directly took out his Zanpakuto, which was like a dagger. Shoot him, Shinso, swish. The short Zanpakuto instantly turned into a white light and stretched infinitely. At the same time, a figure also came in front of Aizen and directly snatched Rukia Kuchiki away. Blood splattered everywhere. It turned out to be the severely injured Byakuya Kuchiki. He blocked the fatal knife for Rukia Kuchiki. Advertisement, brother. After the blood spewed out, Byakuya Kuchiki couldn't hold it anymore, and directly knelt on the ground, leaning on Rukia Kuchiki for support. Brother. Why did you save me? Rukia Kuchiki asked puzzled. She thought her elder brother, Byakuya Kuchiki, hated her so much that she wanted to kill her. But unexpectedly, at the moment of name crisis, Byakuya Kuchiki appeared and blocked Ichimaru Jin's Zanpakuto with his body. Aizen obviously didn't give the two of them time to open their hearts, put their hands on the handle of the knife, and walked slowly towards Byakuya Kuchiki's position. And at this moment, Ichimaru Jin's eyes widened, and Tusen Kanami seemed to sense something, and pulled the knife out of its sheath. Is this Hogyoku? What a strange power, varied. A shocked expression appeared on Aizen's face for the first time, and he turned his head to look. At some point, there was a man with red hair and a black windbreaker standing beside him. The man was looking at the Hogyoku in Aizen's hand with great interest, and let out an admiration. Sorry, did I scare you? Namikaze Kirito scratched his head and said helplessly, actually, I don't want to show up so soon, but if I don't show up again, I will lose the chance to watch Hogyoku. Mysterious Shinigami. Just a moment of surprise, Aizen regained that peaceful expression. 1.9 Of course he knows Namikaze Kirito. As I said, he has been hiding in the meeting hall these days, so he has seen the video of Namikaze Kirito, and he planned to get in touch with this interesting person in the future, but he did not expect to meet him here. The most unexpected thing was that the other party escaped his perception unexpectedly. Normally, this is absolutely impossible. Is there a way to hide your figure? It's really? Whoosh whoosh. Before Aizen finished speaking, two women suddenly appeared on his body. One is Yoruichi in human form and the other is Sui Feng. Two women appeared, one aimed at Aizen's throat with Zanpakuto, and the other held Aizen's Zanpakuto. This is also what Namikaze Minato meant when he said that he had no chance to watch Hogyoku afterwards. Chapter 371 Aizen's solicitation. Stay still, Aizen. Yoruichi, who was holding down the hilt of Aizen, threatened. She doesn't have time to catch up with Namikaze Minato now, she knows Aizen's strength best, so she dare not be careless. Ichimaru Jin on the side was about to make a move when a familiar voice sounded from behind him. Don't move, Silver. The top lady of the Soul Society, Matsumoto Rangaku, was holding a knife right on the neck of Ichimaru Jin. Ichimaru Jin said in that slightly teasing tone, Sorry, Captain Aizen, I was caught. At this time, Aizen didn't pay attention to Ichimaru Jin, didn't even control the weapon under his neck, and looked at Namikaze Minato tightly with a pair of eyes. Interesting, I originally thought that the boy who was in trouble was the one who brought me a surprise, but I didn't expect a character like you to appear. I'm not a famous big shot, Tilda. Namikaze Minato shrugged helplessly. If it wasn't for seeing Hogyoku's power and testing whether the world order would emerge by the way, he wouldn't bother to show up. Now show yourself directly in front of Aizen, no accident, the other party will definitely count the variable of 29 him. Looking at Aizen's eyes now, I know that my guess must be right. You are now a wanted criminal of the Soul Society, how about walking with me? You are different from these wastes of the Soul Society who only stick to the rules, I see something farther in you. Since it is a Shinigami, it has the limit of Shinigami. Shut up, Aizen. Yoruichi already knew how terrifying Namikaze Minato is from Urahara Kazuki, and now he heard with his own ears that Aizen is wooing Namikaze Minato. If the other party really didn't hold their breath and joined Aizen, would they still have something to play? Then it became a punch to Aizen's face. Boom, Yoruichi's fist was directly blocked by Aizen's outstretched hand, making a muffled sound. Yoruichi, I have strength in my fist, but such a bright fist can't hit me. ***. Advertisement. Although Sui Feng talked about hating Yoruichi, no one was more infatuated with Yoruichi than her. Seeing Yoruichi being ridiculed, she couldn't bear it anymore, and pierced upwards with a sword like a bee needle. But in an instant, Aizen's figure had disappeared, and Yoruichi and Sui Feng were also gone. More and more captains gathered here. According to the normal situation, Aizen has notified the Manos Grandes of the imaginary world to pick up the three of them at this time. But seeing the appearance of Namikaze Minato, he just made a gesture to make Tusen Kanami stop. With Manos Grande negation around, if Aizen wants to go, no one can stop him. At this time, the strongest Shinigami, Captain Yamamoto, and two disciples, Jingle and Jashiro, also rushed here. Aizen Sosuke, are there still unknown Shinigami? The captain leaned on his Zanpakuto with both hands and said softly. There was no emotion in his tone, it seemed that the two people in front of him could not pose a threat to him. The blue line marked the surrounding abuse, and appeared in front of Namikaze Minato again. How about accepting my offer? I'll help you break the boundaries of Shinigami and go directly to a new realm. Namikaze Minato glanced at Aizen, and said boredly. Forget about the new field, I'm not interested in the kind of people who look like ghosts or ghosts. From the moment he saw Hogyoku just now, Namikaze Minato realized that the power contained in this thing could not be absorbed at all. It is more like the kind of wish power. After all, Hogyoku was created with the power of the soul. It is true that it can make wishes, Hogyoku has its own consciousness. Even if this kind of thing is absorbed, it will not have any enhancement effect, not to mention, the props that can realize wishes can only be used in this world. Not yet a product of world order. Once Namikaze Minato really grabs Hogyoku, I don't know how the other party will do it. So for Aizen, Hogyoku was something that reached a new level and fulfilled a long-cherished wish, but for Namikaze Minato, it was a hot potato. Hearing what Namikaze Minato said, Aizen was not surprised why the other party knew about Hollow. According to the newspaper, Urahara Kazuki appears with Namikaze Minato in this world. Urahara Kazuki rescued Hiriko Shinji's failed experiments, so it's not surprising to know about Hollow. Instead, he continued, after I leave, these Shinigami will attack you. Don't you think it's a pity to die at the hands of these stupid people? Advertisement. There's the General Captain Yamamoto Genryusai, and basically all the captains gather here. Aizen didn't think the other party could leave here. With this matter, I am throwing an olive branch to Namikaze Minato. They shouldn't be able to kill me, and do you still have the leisure to recruit me now? The old man is about to draw his sword. I saw sporadic flames appearing under the captain's feet. The veins in his hands also popped up, obviously, he seemed to be ready to kill with one blow. What a pity. Aizen sighed, and then his figure suddenly disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. When it reappeared, it slashed directly at Namikaze Minato with Kyoka Suigetsu in hand. Facing this sudden scene, Namikaze Minato did not panic in the slightest, and directly took out the knife at his waist. Clang! With a crisp sound, the two blades, one black and one white, collided directly. It's really 683. If you disagree with each other, you will strike. You and Dabai over there really have the same temperament. Namikaze Minato blocked Aizen's attack with a knife in his hand, and used Bikuya Kuchiki, who was kneeling on the ground not far away, to attack make fun of each other. You actually took it. Sure enough, you can surprise me more than the boy in trouble. Seeing that his attack was blocked, Aizen's eyes were full of interest. Although it was just a random stab, he swung it seriously, but was blocked by Namikaze Kirito. You know, the other captains are just a second away in front of Aizen. Ichimaru Jin said in the original book that it was never Kyoga Suigetsu who was strong, but Aizen himself. Shinigami's 4 basic fighting styles, each of which, he has reached the peak. So even if it is a knife that is swung casually, it is not something that ordinary people can block. Looking at Kurosaki Ichigo who fell on the ground, even if he defeated Bikuya Kuchiki, facing Aizen, he was just an existence that could be blocked with one finger. Captain Aizen, if you don't leave, it seems like we won't be able to leave. At this moment, Ichimaru Jin saw a group of Shinigami surrounding him and said helplessly. It seems that today's battle will come to an end. Aizen withdrew his knife and planned to leave directly. It's not rude to come and go. Namikaze Kirito is not the kind of character that can be manipulated by others. Chapter 372. A brief temptation. The moment Aizen sheathed the sword, Namikaze Kirito moved, a black-gloved hand grasping the black handle. A dark fog appeared. Whoosh! But what no one expected was that the captain also shot at this moment, and a scorching high temperature instantly enveloped the audience. Even Aizen and Namikaze Kirito did not expect this change. Caught off guard, Aizen pulled out Kyoga Suigetsu again and broke it with a swing of the knife. The crimson flames and the thick darkness collided together in an instant. Oh! There was a trace of surprise in the captain's eyes. The surprise was not that Namikaze Kirito could block his knife. It's the special power covered by the opponent's sword. This kind of power has never been seen on other Shinigami. What is this Zanpakuto? The same is true for Aizen. Kyoga Suigetsu directly collided with the Zanpakuto of the other two, and the 3 powerful forces collided, causing a wave of air that made the surrounding Shinigami almost unable to restrain themselves and flew backwards. Grandpa, you are really delaying things. Namikaze Kirito glanced at the captain and said helplessly. HMPH, it's you who got in the way, unknown brat. The captain snorted coldly, and the haori on his back slipped off, revealing his muscular and scarred body. Captain Yamamoto, you are really old, and you still sneak attack, Aizen said with a smile. Shut up, Aizen Sosuke, you brat, betray the Soul Society, I will kill you right here. Then I'm really sorry, I will probably disappoint you, I won't die. After saying that, Aizen stretched out a hand, and a large number of Ryotsu began to gather. 90 of Hado. Snort! Aizen intends to release Kido, and the captain's body is also ignited with flames. Seeing that the two are at war, Namikaze Kirito is not in the mood to engage in a 3-person melee. One hand held a knife and confronted the two, and the other hand directly clenched a fist. A transparent force began to appear in his hands. Tilde. Advertisement. Feeling the fluctuation of power, the captain and Aizen turned their heads to look at Namikaze Kirito at the same time. I saw that his fist was covered with a punch of transparent energy, and then he grinned and punched violently. Ka ka ka. For the first time in the world of Shinigami, the power of concussion appears. The atmosphere was shattered, countless cracks appeared, and with a bang, Aizen and the captain retreated in response. I saw that the ground where the two were standing turned into cracks like spider webs, and more than that, the force rushed forward, and after a while, countless deep ditches appeared on the ground. Boom! The ground trembled for a while, and all the surrounding Shinigami looked at Namikaze Kirito in shock. No one expected that just one punch from the other party could have such a great destructive power. Didn't even see him freeing his own Zanpakuto. What the hell is that power? Aizen looked at Namikaze Kirito with surprise in his eyes. He felt novelty from this power. This is a power never seen before. Little devil. The captain also stared at Namikaze Kirito. He still doesn't know the identity of the other party. He didn't expect such an anomaly to appear in Shinigami. Yoruichi and Sui Feng stand together. Since the captain has made a move, there is no room for them to make a move. But seeing the power emitted by Namikaze Kirito, Yoruichi's eyes were full of seriousness. She was thinking, Urahara Kazuki is right. Namikaze Kirito is definitely a terrifying existence. If such people join Aizen, it is estimated that their situation will become more and more difficult. Mr. Kirito, are you so powerful? Kurosaki Ichigo, who fell to the ground, saw Namikaze Kirito, Daihatsu Kamui, and for the first time there was a desire for power in his heart. In the original book, he has been working hard to save his companions in the world, but every time he is passive. After a strong enemy appears, he can't beat him, so he goes to exercise and defeats. Going back and forth like this, but in my heart, I never had a desire for power. Instead, it regards power as a tool that must be used to save everything. Just now, he faced Aizen with Renji. The second time, he felt a deep powerlessness. The first time was when he met Bikuya Kuchiki in this world. Also, without any strength to fight back, he fell directly to the ground. The two experiences are so similar, but the most important point is that in these two encounters, each time, Namikaze Kirito appeared, and then easily resisted, in his eyes, an enemy that he thought was impossible to defeat. Unknown Shinigami, I like you. People like you should go and create a new world with me. Why don't you go to Shu with me first? I will tell you my plan. At that time, you will know how right it is to follow me. Advertisement. There was a hint of enthusiasm in Aizen's tone. He saw the power of Namikaze Kirito, and thought that only this kind of person could stand by his side. Come on, Captain Aizen, I don't have any interest in your so-called new world. Why don't you follow me? As soon as the words came out, Aizen was slightly taken aback, and Ichimaru Jin, who was not far away, almost burst out laughing. This was the first time he had seen Aizen hit a wall everywhere. You know, before, Aizen has always been an invincible posture, playing with everyone in the Soul Society. Only the appearance of this Namikaze Kirito not only did not get tricked by Aizen, but also made the other party choke. It was just too much fun. Maybe, the one who can fight Captain Aizen is you. How could there be so many Manos Grande? After a short moment, Aizen regained his previous expression and said softly, "It's a pity, but you will see the day when I merge with Hogyoku and truly break the boundaries." The ground under the three of them cracked, and pieces of ground supported them and began to fly into the air. All the Shinigami looked at the Manos Grande who appeared in shock. Logically speaking, Manos Grande acted alone, and Hueco Mundo and Soul Society didn't want to get along at all. How is that possible? Why are there so many Manos Grande here? In the end, it was impossible to escape the fate of the seal. 1, 2, dozens of Manos Grande appeared in front of everyone. Boom. Watch you get tricked by Urahara Kazuki and defeated by Kurosaki Ichigo. Not long after, a hole was torn open in the sky. In an instant, several beams of light shot down from the cracks in the sky. Enveloped Aizen, Ichimaru Jin and Tusen Kanami inside. Well, I will definitely see it. Ichimaru Jin looked at Namikaze Kirito with an imperceptible look of anticipation. There are Shinigami who constantly send out attacks towards the aperture, but these attacks cannot touch Aizen and others at all. At this moment, a crack suddenly appeared in the sky, and then a pale giant hand stretched out from it. Namikaze Kirito complained in his heart, hateful. 370th chapter's Captain Shot. That's negation, a way for Manos Grande to summon his companions. When negation enveloped Aizen and the others, the inside and outside were like different dimensions, and they couldn't interfere with each other. As the captain, he is a living encyclopedia, of course he knows what's going on with this kind of thing. Directly let many of the team members under him stop their useless efforts. Jashiro on the side yelled at Aizen angrily, "You actually teamed up with Shu, Aizen, have you fallen?" I saw the classic scene here again. Aizen took off his eyes, and the hair was pulled back with hairspray. The real him, showing his sharpness, at this moment, he was displayed in front of everyone. Jashiro, you are so arrogant. No one stands in the sky from the beginning, whether you, or me. Even God is the same, but the unbearable window period of the Emperor's throne has arrived, from now on, and I shall stand on top. All the Shinigami felt a little uneasy when they heard Aizen and Hoki's declaration. They know that when they meet again next time, they will be immortal. Now that Aizen is so powerful, who knows what the future will be like. Unknown Shinigami, the next time we meet again, you will find out what is the false 303, and what is the real power. Aizen still looked at Namikaze Kirito with admiration. It has to be said that until now, in the entire Soul Society, except for one and the old-fashioned captain, there is no one who can wrestle with him at all. This kind of feeling that everyone is sleeping and he is awake alone is very bad. I didn't expect that there would be an existence that could compete with him. Although it was only a momentary fight, Aizen has already been determined. After Aizen and the others completely disappeared from everyone's eyes, all Shinigami's eyes turned to Namikaze Kirito again. Facing this Shinigami of unknown origin, everyone is somewhat wary. Who knows if it will be the next Aizen? What are you looking at me for? Do I have flowers on my face? Namikaze Kirito put one hand on the handle of the knife, shrugged and teased. Just at this time, Sister Wa also came over and looked at Namikaze Kirito with a smile. "Mr. Kirito, should you tell us your identity?" "Sister Wa, why are you asking me? If I don't tell you, will you kill me directly?" How could be? Many Shinigami were still wondering how Uji, CJAA, Huolito and Namikaze Kirito knew each other and knew each other's name. As a result, Namikaze Kirito called her directly to Lei. Advertisement, Hana. Hana's sister. Yoruichi's mouth twitched and Kakuzu said, "What the hell is this brat thinking? Don't you know how scary this woman is?" At this time, the captain slowly pulled out the Zanpakuto again. His haori fell to the ground, and the blade was then covered by hot flames. "It seems that we still have to fight. Really, why don't you let me visit here?" "Little ghost, the matter of Aizen let me know that there are too many immature little ghosts in the current Soul Society. It just so happens that I let this old man teach them a lesson today." "You actually use me as a coolie in class, old man, you are really going too far." Although the two were about to start a fight, there was no aura of tension between their words, but it was like chatting. Just when everyone was still wondering when the two would make their move. A gust of wind blew by, and the two disappeared in place at the same time. When he reappeared, he was already in the middle, and a knife wrapped in flames collided with a knife immersed in the darkness. Boom. The two seemed to have used a lot of strength this time, with the two Zanpakuto as the center. A roar sounded, which made the Shinigami who was not strong in combat directly fall to the ground. Inoue Orihime and others even let out an exclamation and were overturned by the airwave. "Little devil. This old man recognizes your strength, but it's 100 years too early to fight against this old man." The corner of the captain's mouth was raised, as if he was enjoying the feeling of fighting. After all, his body was also burning with raging flames, and his other hand was also placed on the handle of the knife. Anyone who has read the original book knows that in the world of Shinigami, the old man holding a knife in both hands is the moment to be serious. Namikaze Kirito felt particularly clearly. If before, the strength he felt was like a mountain, now it is like a vast and boundless sea. The entire temperament of the captain has also changed. "I don't want to die here, I have no choice but to use all my strength." Namikaze Kirito was very helpless. He didn't expect that he had just arrived in the world of Shinigami, and there was going to be an all-out duel. But he is also a combat lunatic. When he came to this kind of world, he was able to release his strength to his heart's content for the first time, but it was too late to be happy. I saw billowing black smoke gushing out from Namikaze Kirito's body. He bounced off the old man's attack forcefully, and black sword energy came out. Asterisk 1. Advertisement facing the oncoming black sword energy. The chief captain raised the knife above his head with both hands and slashed down. The crimson flame directly dispelled the darkness in front of him. As the darkness dissipated, the figure of Namikaze Kirito reappeared. This time, there was a white halo on his pitch-black knife. Feeling the fluctuation of power, the captain's eyes were fixed. He had already seen this kind of power just now, the power that blasted him and Aizen into the air. Thinking of this, he didn't dare to be careless. He swung the knife with both hands, and he would never dodge it. Head-to-head fighting is Namikaze Kirito's favorite way of fighting. This time the roar directly caused the mountain beside Sokyoku to collapse, and the onlookers were all blocked by captain-level figures. Otherwise, the remaining prestige of the battle can cause a lot of injuries to those who are not strong enough. Is this his real power? Yoruichi looked at the collapsing atmosphere around the captain and Namikaze Kirito. Treating Namikaze Kirito, she now pays more and more attention to it in her heart. Sister Wa, the captain of the 4th Division, helped the wounded in Yunnan to block the aftermath, while staring at Namikaze Kirito with those eyes like autumn water. There was a trace of long-lost blood agitation in the body. Torch. After the force of the collision between the two disappeared, the captain directly swung his knife. The fiery flame instantly turned into a tornado and hit Namikaze Kirito. Dark water. Facing the flame tornado, Namikaze Kirito also swung his knife, and a thick black fog appeared, directly absorbing the crimson flame. This is the flame of Ryujin Jaka, not the Mera fruit of Pirate World Ace. The temperature and destructive power are not of the same order of magnitude. Seeing that his attack was absorbed, the captain jumped forward, his muscles bulging. Cut and chop. Swish. A burst of saber light was so close to being invisible to the naked eye, it attacked Namikaze Kirito, who blocked the pitch-black Zanpakuto in front of him, and with the sound of clang, he stepped back a few steps in midair. Chapter 374 A Draw. Hey, Zanpakuto hasn't been released yet, is the slash already so powerful? Namikaze Kirito could not help but smile as he felt the force of the blade hit just now. At this time, the figure of the chief captain also appeared beside him, waving his hand and punching him. Little devil. This old man is not fragile enough for you to judge, one bone. Boom. Another scene where Yamamoto Genryuzai was shocked appeared. Lee's punch was also punched by the other party. It can be said that the captain, Yamamoto Motoyanagi Shigekuni, is definitely the oldest and most powerful Shinigami, not counting the old guys of the Zero Division who have lived for 10,000 years. When fighting, they dare not liberate Zanpakuto, for fear of burning the entire Soul Society. Similarly, Shinigami's 4 basic fighting styles have all reached their peak tilde. Not everyone can block this punch, so I still use a fist. But the fact is right in front of him, this kid Unohana Retsu called Kirito actually blocked it with his fist. Grandpa, you're really good, Namikaze Kirito raised his lips. You know, if it is physical strength, he has reached a level that is difficult for ordinary people to reach. Unexpectedly, in the Shinigami world, there is someone who can match him with physical strength. HMPH. You're not bad, brat, the captain also laughed. This is the expression he never showed again after he became the captain thousands of years ago. He is a fighting madman himself, but as his status has improved, he hasn't fought so freely for a long time. Let me see the true strength of the captain. After saying that, Namikaze Kirito landed on the ground, laying the black blade across his chest. A large amount of thick black fog emerged from his body, and the darkness continued to spread towards the sky. After a while, most of the sky was dyed black. Namikaze Kirito is unleashing his power. After being upgraded and blessed by world power, the dark fruit is no longer the original fruit. Not only has the gravitational force, but also has the force of the law of annihilation. Advertisement? Oh, do you want to confront the old man head-on, arrogant brat? Even though he said that, the captain who felt the opponent's astonishing power also fell to the ground at the same time. Hot flames gushed out from his whole body. Boom boom boom. Not long after, pillars of fire suddenly appeared around the sky. Fiery hell. Dozens of fire pillars began to continuously gather towards Namikaze Kirito. Seeing this scene, he didn't panic in the slightest. He stabbed the knife into the ground suddenly. Dark acupoint. 7878. A large amount of darkness covered his eyes from under his feet, and at this moment, the darkness in the sky also gathered together, forming a black sun. Grandpa, come and block it. Namikaze Kirito had a look of madness in his eyes. With the knife pulled out and a strong slash forward, the black sun rushed directly to the captain, and the dozens of pillars of fire gathered around were also absorbed by the dark power. Just when the black sun was about to fall on the captain's body, in the darkness, 2 words whispered from his mouth. Bankai. Boom. The crimson sky reaching flame collided with the oncoming billowing darkness, and at this moment, the sky and the earth turned pale. The surrounding captains were even thrown away, and only Sister Wa still kept her figure, but there was a touch of perfume on her bright forehead. After a long time, the flames and darkness completely dissipated, and the sky returned to its original appearance again. Taking a closer look, Sokyoku's hard execution frame has completely disappeared, and even the surrounding mountain peaks have only been left with flat ground. The aftermath of the battle between the two is terrifying. Hey, The captain is too strong, and that unknown Shinigami can compete with the captain? Shinigami Omeda showed an unbelievable look. Not to mention him, there was one Shinigami present, and the captain and vice captain were stunned by the scene in front of them. Looking around, the two on the battlefield, the captain was shirtless, panting heavily, although Namikaze Kirito was not so panting, but there were several scorched black streaks on his body. Advertisement obviously, at the last moment, the captain in front of him liberated Zanpakuto, and only the temperature of Ryujin Jaka could burn Namikaze Kirito. Ha! Ha! Brat, I admit your strength. The captain's eyes were full of joy. It should be said that I admit that your strength is almost the same, but we haven't decided the winner yet. Namikaze Kirito responded with a smile. Ask for flowers, we can't continue fighting, you should have felt it just now, right? The reason why the captain is so out of breath is not only to resist the invasion of darkness just now, but because of Bankai, he is using all his strength to control Zanpakuto, fearing that if he is not careful, the Jingling court will be burned down. That would be ridiculous. Aizen, a traitor, didn't even destroy Jinglingding, but instead destroyed it in the hands of the captain. What's more, Sokyoku's heirs are gone, and after that, it is estimated that those nobles will inevitably chatter for a while. Thinking of this, the captain had a headache. Sheath the black blade. Namikaze Kirito came to the captain's side, and said softly, since you don't fight anymore, can you withdraw the arrest warrant for me? I haven't fully appreciated Soul Society yet? Ha ha ha. Do you want to withdraw the arrest warrant? Yes, but you have to agree to one condition, the captain said with a smile. What conditions? Namikaze Kirito was a little puzzled, and even thought, the other party would not let him catch Aizen, would he? Treat him like a toolman like Kurosaki Ichigo. That's not okay, it's not as comfortable as calling directly. Don't worry, this condition is only good for you. Seeming to see Namikaze Kirito's worries, the captain said heartily. At this moment, a group of Shinigami also surrounded him, and the captain stopped fighting, but it doesn't mean they stopped fighting too. They didn't know what order the captain would give, so they all stood behind the captain and looked at Namikaze Kirito vigilantly. Only Yoruichi, and Shiba Chizuru, who just rushed over, stood on Namikaze Kirito's side. Kurosaki Ichigo was helped up by Inoue and others, and they also came to Namikaze Kirito's side together. Such a force is impossible for anyone to ignore. You know, although there are few people here, each of them has a lot of fighting power. Yoruichi and Shiba Chizuru are old acquaintances of the Soul Society, and even the captains of the older generation may not be able to withstand it. As for Kurosaki Ichigo, he was also in trouble, beating both Zaraki Kenpachi and Byakuya Kuchiki. Namikaze Kirito can even stand up to the captain head-on. The lineup can be described as very luxurious. Chapter 375, New Captain of the 5th Division. Amid the mutual vigilance of everyone, the chief captain spoke slowly. I want you to be the captain of the 5th Division. What? Are you kidding? He directly becomes the captain. The words were not shocking, but when the captain said this, not to mention Namikaze Kirito himself, even the Shinigami all stared wide-eyed. They were all wondering if their ears had heard it wrong. How could the captain invite a wanted criminal to be the captain? Not to mention the location of Aizen. The captain of the 5th squad isn't at the position Aizen used to be. You know, the hearts of the Shinigami are already vigilant. Who would have thought that Aizen, who has always been a good man in the Soul Society, would defect from the Soul Society with 2 captains? Before leaving, he killed all the 46 rooms, and even the recent incident, 753, is related to Aizen, and judging from the last scene, it is obvious that Aizen and Shu colluded together. This is already the biggest and worst incident in Jingling Court so far. After that, those noble gentlemen don't know how to get mad. The big picture is now uncertain. Fortunately, the captain did not ask to arrest Namikaze Kirito directly, and even let this unknown Shinigami be the captain of the 5th Division. How can this be? Namikaze Kirito also almost dropped his jaw. He thought Yamamoto Genri Usai was going to let him go to Hueco Mundo to capture Aizen. As a result, he was directly given the position of captain? I said, old man, are you joking? Namikaze Kirito asked with a chuckle. The Shinigami on the side also looked at the captain. Their eyes seemed to say, Captain, tell the other party quickly, you were joking. But obviously, the captain is going to let them down. The captain said seriously, what, do you think the old man is someone who knows how to joke? Namikaze Kirito was also a little speechless. It would be better to just tear your face apart. Sometimes, fighting directly won't cause any trouble. If you accept other people's kindness for no reason, this is the beginning of trouble. Advertisement. And don't look at the appearance of Mr. Yamamoto, he is not a real person, and Gode 13 was not responsible for the safety of Jinglingding before. It's an out-and-out killer organization. Until the old man didn't know what was going on, he reached an agreement with the nobles of Jingling Court. Only then has the current Gode 13, so it is not an exaggeration to say that this old man has 800 minds. How could this kind of person give benefits for no reason? Don't even think about it, there must be a conspiracy. What's more, for Namikaze Kirito, becoming the captain of the 5th squad is just a status that can walk in the Soul Society above board, and there is not much benefit. On the contrary, as the captain, there are many responsibilities to bear. Thinking of this, just as Namikaze Kirito was about to speak, he was interrupted by Mr. Yamamoto, who seemed to have guessed Namikaze Kirito's concerns. Don't refuse me, I know what you're thinking, it's just a deal between me and you'd invite you to be the captain of the 5th team. Although you are the captain, if you don't like it, you can take orders from me, the old man. Even to a certain extent, giving you enough autonomy. Of course, when the Soul Society is facing a crisis, you have to come out. That's what the old man calls a deal. Hiss. The surrounding Shinigami gasped. This is not a deal, it is simply a huge benefit. They haven't read the original work, so they don't know what the Soul Society will face in the future. Aizen is just the beginning. But there is still Yhwach, who has fought a bloody battle for 1,000 years, hiding there. It was because they didn't know what was going to happen next, and when they heard what the captain said, they all expressed their dissatisfaction on their faces. It seemed that only the man Kiraku Shunsui looked up at Namikaze Kirito, and there seemed to be a hint of understanding in his eyes. Namikaze Kirito looked at the expression of Mr. Yamamoto, and it was not difficult to see that the other party was serious when he said these words. Don't think that the old man of Soul Society is talking about everything. Once this so-called deal becomes a reality, he will face a lot of pressure. Aizen slaughtered all the people in the 46th room. This matter has not yet been explained. Another unidentified Shinigami is going to be the captain of the 5th division? Airborne captains are most willing to do things like the nobles. They are eager to arrange people from their own families into Gode 13. Advertisement in this way, on the one hand, he can have the qualification to exercise power in an open and above-board manner in Jingling Court, and on the other hand, he can also let people come to meet Mr. Yamamoto. It can be said to kill two birds with one stone. Once Namikaze Kirito agrees to the other party's deal, I have to say that Mr. Yamamoto probably will have some verbal disputes with those nobles. That's why Namikaze Kirito was shocked by the old man's decisiveness. Yoruichi tugged at the hem of Namikaze Kirito's clothes. His expression almost said that he was about to agree to the other party. From Yoruichi's point of view, Namikaze Kirito had been in the Urahara store when he was alive, and before that, he almost had a formal duel with Aizen. It can be said that this is a companion. If he can serve as the captain of the 5th team, it will also be of great help to future plans. Good. Especially those vice-captains, they worked hard and finally became the 2.7 vice-captains. Unexpectedly, an unknown Shinigami has been the captain of the 5th team since then. After staring at each other for a while, a smile suddenly appeared on Namikaze Kirito's expressionless face. Sui Feng's white teeth on the side were about to be crushed. Yes, but remember to come in human form. I don't have so many clothes for you to wear. Yoruichi followed Namikaze Kirito and squeezed his eyes a few times, looking like he was not doing right. You boy, all right, I'm going to call you captain soon. Yoruichi raised his fist, and an imperceptible blush appeared on his weed-colored pretty face. Namikaze Kirito. Mr. Yamamoto just said such a word, then turned around and left. As for the follow-up matter, someone will definitely arrange it, so there is no need to worry. You be asterisk 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 D-brat. What's more, no matter how you look at this matter, there is no harm at all. After all, the strongest captain, Mr. Yamamoto, is fighting for the sky to fall. It's just that the Shinigami around are all looking at Namikaze Kirito with resentment in their eyes. The 5th division is also the original residence of the big villain Aizen, which is even more unpopular. I agree. Your name. But Namikaze Kirito didn't care about their stares. He couldn't beat himself anyway, so he was angry. After the 5th team, can I go anywhere?